Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode number 406. Only 94 away from episode 500. Getting pretty close. My name is Colin Moriarty. I already said that, maybe. Joined as always by my son, Chris Reagan. Chris, good to see you today, my friend. How are you?
I'm okay, man. I think I may be sick. I feel it. I feel that little, that how you wake up and your throat's not quite right. You're like, I don't like where this is going.
Scratchy throat's always the first sign. Yeah,
it's terrible. But dude, I got completely ravaged over this weekend or this week. So my parents told me that I was allergic to cats or medical professionals. I don't know. I've been around cats before for extended periods of time and I've been fine. This past weekend was this cat was, prestiged or something. He was leveled up to the max because I have not sneezed that much probably in my life total. It felt ridiculous. It was maybe 5 sneezes a minute. I was I gotta get the fuck out of here, dude. I forgot what it was
I think, right? With the cat?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know, but that probably fucked me up too much because then I think that was a nasal drip. That probably sparked something and it's that damn cat.
Yeah.
Fucked me up.
Yeah.
But outside of that, feeling okay. Playing some games, just got my coffee. A lot more people at this place than there normally is. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but it's fine. I was telling Colin before we started recording, I saw a guy in a 311 shirt and I thought of him.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 311 is one of the things that reminds everyone that I know of me. I even had because they've been my favorite band since the mid 90s, so it's been a long time. It's more than 30 years of me liking this band, so people know that. But it's funny because there's just so many people that are either introduced to them through me or just understand that even on 311 day, March 11th, I literally get text messages from people, which I find so funny, as if it's my birthday or something. I don't even hear it from these people on my birthday, which is fine. I don't care about my birthday. I don't want to be clear about that. That's a big thing I'm reading about recently is just randomly, I don't know why, seeing it on social media and other places, is people talking about why men don't like their birthday. And I'm yeah, I don't really give a shit. I almost have never really given a shit, to be honest, even as a little kid. I was yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Another year, another trip around the sun, as it were.
As it were.
Dustin Furman, executive producer. Good to see you today, my friend, as always. You're looking handsome.
Thank you. Yeah, I came right from the barber shop. I text you guys. I'm I don't think I'm going to be late, but just in case. It's in and out of there quick. Good times with the boys at Jefferson Hairplane in Butler.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Now, I did want to point out, for a reason we'll talk about later in the show, I have a stack of PlayStation 1 games beside me.
Show me.
And I was looking at the list. I'm this is an extremely eclectic grouping of PS1 games. We have Bubsy 3D.
Nice.
Of Ben Studio.
Ben Studio.
Are they I never owned that game. They would be iDidic at that time, but is it anywhere on there?
It's on the back. You probably won't be able to see it, but maybe the audience.
Oh yeah, there it is. That's funny.
So we got that. We have Swagman.
What the fuck is that?
I bought this at Main Level Games because I saw it and I'm what the fuck is that? And so I bought it.
I have never heard of that in my life.
I remember that from PSM. I'm looking up when that came out.
Swagman.
1990. Yeah, Core made. And I remember this is on Saturn. Core made that game, which is the original Tomb Raider studio.
Swagman cost me $40. That's quite an expense. Okay, it's not that much of an expense for a PS1 game, but to just be what the fuck is that? And then being willing to put down $40 for it. But I mean, look at this. You gotta have that. Okay.
This game looks ridiculous, by the way. I'm looking up gameplay of Swagman. Not at all what it looks like on the cover.
No.
Digimon World.
Oh.
Hey! I love that
this game is ass, but it's very nostalgic. I remember my friend putting this on layaway at Walmart to get it.
Layaway.
And then when we played it, we were like, what is this? And then last but not least, Civilization 2.
Oh, wow. I don't even know. I don't even think I knew there was a Civ 2 PS1 port. Activision published it.
Activision
God,
published.
I love that kind of. I love seeing who worked with each other to get shit on console back in the day. It's so funny.
And this, it comes with a little like instruction sheet on the inside. Any kind of nice little bonus.
I love that kind of. God, I miss when games did that.
What's funny is,
go ahead.
I put this on for Holly, and I joked and I was like, okay, you got to play this version now if you want to be, the real
master.
Civ fan.
Yeah.
She sat and played it for probably 2 hours, and then eventually it was like we got up to eat dinner or something or get dinner, and then we came back to it. She's like, I've had enough.
Yeah,
she's like,
I can understand that.
She's like, I get it. I'm like, honestly, that's way longer than I expected you to play it.
That's such a late port, dude. I was looking this up because I'm like, what? The port came out 3 years later.
1998.
It says 90. It's January 499. It says here on Wiki.
Oh, the latest date I could find is 98.
Oh my God, they must have been so fucking disappointed. I always think about that in the physical only world of being like, oh my God, we can't get the game out in time for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. Like, oh man, we're not going to do it. That's so funny. And Microprose, obviously.
So that's the lineup of PS1 games on my desk.
That is an
crazy.
eclectic and strange collection of games. No real Dustin game in there either, in my opinion.
I grabbed these in order to experiment with something that, again, we'll talk about later in the show. And these were my like recent pickups that hadn't been organized into my collection yet. So I just grabbed them. And then I looked, I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's it.
Swagman is
Swagman's a pull, dude.
That's a pull,
Saturn
man.
version of
I
it.
can earnestly say I've just never seen that. I've never seen that cover art. I've never heard of it.
Dude, it's got I love the ads on the inside.
Oh, it's always
Fighting
fun.
Force. Hell yeah, dude.
Tomb Raider, Fighting Force, and Death Trap Dungeon. I've never heard of Death Trap Dungeon.
The ads are good.
God,
The ads
what
were
an
effective.
idiot.
The ads are effective.
What an idiot I was throwing away like even just like
Let's
get
see.
random ad sleeves in the back of
Yeah.
games and it's just like this is an ad. I'll throw it away. I wish I had them still.
We got
Asteroids.
90s Asteroids.
Oh, I loved that one.
Nothing in the Digimon, just some art.
Yeah, I mean, this is the funny thing about the jewel case in the PS1 era, in my opinion, once they got away from the fat cases, the long cases, is I was deeply advertised by that left side of the PS1 jewel case many times. And even into the PS2 era, I always talk about how GTA 3 came with an ad for State of Emergency, which is fucking horrible, by the way. But that game must have sold millions of copies because it was just, and Final Fantasy Tactics was very prominently teased in Final Fantasy 7 as well. So it's so funny to see that. Yeah, like some clever marketer was like, we have an opportunity here.
Mm-hmm.
And they took advantage of it, which is pretty cool. And I always love the stuff underneath the disc too. Sometimes there's like really beautiful art
Oh yeah.
under the disc, which I'm into.
Oh, Swagman, you have this awesome like pre-rendered of the
Swagman.
characters, and they look horrifying.
That's
They
crazy.
call me the swag man.
Digimon World is really nostalgic for me. I don't remember. I remember liking it when I was a kid. I have not touched it since. I bet it's rough. But
It's a late game too, as I recall. Like like
certainly.
because I love the games that came to PS1 either around the time PS2 came out or even after, because games kept coming, just coming and coming. I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna come.
Oh, did you see the video? I was thinking about you guys. I forgot to. I totally meant to send it to you guys, and I forgot where it was like where Trump was talking about what Kim Jong-un used to say about Joe Biden.
Oh
And,
yeah, yeah. He was like,
yeah.
he called him mentally retarded. There was a clip recently that didn't really get that much traction online where what's his face, the Secretary of War guy, Pete whatever.
Oh, Pete Hegseth.
Pete
Yeah.
Hegseth.
He's like, we're gonna hit him hard, we're gonna pound him, and he's like going like this, and you can see Trump. He goes, his like eyebrows raised real big.
That's
like,
crazy.
Come on, man.
Pete
on.
Hegseth looks like a JRPG. I mean, I've said this. I think I've said this before. He looks like a JRPG lieutenant.
He looks like a Shinra guy.
Right.
There's that one video of him. My favorite video of Pete Hexes is the one of him throwing an axe in the middle of Did you ever see that video of him throwing an axe at a random civilian in the middle of New York City? Have you not seen this?
No, it's obviously.
So he's doing a thing for like Good Morning America or something, or whatever the fuck show he was on. I can't remember. It's not Good Morning America, but it was Fox and Friends or something.
Fox and Friends, probably because he was on Fox.
But it was that kind of show, and they were doing like some tomahawk throwing thing in.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if it couldn't have been Times Square, but it was one of those central hubs in New York City, and it went over the target and like hit a marching band dude in the drum.
Yeah,
so like he could have potentially killed a guy. It's crazy.
It's old. I've never seen this. Yeah, this is when he was on, and he was on CNN. That's interesting. And it's Fox News host Pete Hegseth hurls axe, hits drummer.
It's crazy. Like if you look at that video, like the closeness by which he was almost like a murderer is crazy.
Like that. Okay, so the video I put in the chat, which I can't overlay it on the podcast, guys. They like slow motion it.
Yeah,
at 33 seconds. It's crazy, dude.
It really is. Like it's really scary.
Yeah, I mean, imagine.
Yeah, 33 seconds into this video, it's Fox News host throws axe, hits drummer from CNN 10 years ago.
I will say one thing I appreciate about. Well, Pete Hegseth had nothing to do with it, but I like the renaming of the Department of Defense, the Department of War, although that's not going to stick after this term, no doubt, just because I think it reminds people what it really is. You know, It's like, oh, it's defense. It's like defend $1 trillion on defense. The hell you?
In a roundabout way, it's technically more honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I also am obsessed, and a lot of people in my life know this, and I must have said it on the show before, like just the JRPG lieutenant, Trump's cabinet has a JRPG, like like you said, Shinra style, like Turks thing.
Yeah.
It's like, think about it. It's like you got Pete Hegseth or whatever, and then we've talked about already, and then he's all tatted up and all these kinds of things. You got Tulsi Gabbard. She's got the silver hair thing, right? Very aesthetically pleasing. Like she's the female. You got RFK Jr., the guy with the fucked up voice, right?
Who has an audio podcast now.
Yeah,
dude. Whoever I was thinking about that, I was like, dude, that's awesome. That's like a Ray Charles VR game. That's so sick. That is such a great. Whoever pitched that to him, it's like you've got the perfect voice for audio primary content. You got to do it.
The Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Besson, is like a snippy gay man. You know,
Scott
like
Besson. I don't even think I've ever heard of that guy.
It's so
Scott
like,
Besson.
Yeah, it's just so funny. They have like all of these. It's like this whole personality of people that would surround a role playing game villain.
I've actually straight up like this guy's like the most understated of them. I think Scott Besson.
You got to hear him talk. I mean, not that he's like flamboyantly gay, but he's like he's clearly gay, and he has a little. You know, he's very in interviews. Right. He's like very snippy. You know, and it's just funny. I always imagine them as like the Turks or something. I'm like, did you intentionally do this? You know, like very, very, very diverse.
This is Scott Besson. He's not too gay.
It's not too gay.
He's just gay enough for our needs.
Dude, that's like there's like the clip from The Apprentice, which I know you like that show, Colin. I've never really watched it, but he's like, did you know he was a homosexual? And they're like, you're a homosexual? He's like, yes. He's like, okay. And it's like, it looks kind of judging, but not quite.
My favorite scene from The Apprentice is him talking about P. Diddy and how good of a guy he is.
Dude, I was such a sucker for the Apprentice when I was a kid. I loved that show. That was like appointment viewing for me. And the Celebrity Apprentice was even funnier, actually. That was just funny.
Yeah.
Fucking wheels fell off with that version of the show.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh my God, dude! There's so many funny random. Wasn't Gary Busey? I think he was on it once, and like he just stuck around forever, and it's so funny. He was because the funny thing everyone knows is like he got in a motorcycle accident in like 1990 or something, and then after that he was totally different.
Yeah. There's so many really scary cell phone videos of like front camera cell phone videos of Gary Busey fucking around on his phone and just saying really scary things. He's a character, that guy.
Yeah, he is.
He reminds me of it's not the same because like he's more concerning than interesting, but like it reminds me of like when David Lynch would go on and he'd be like, "It's Monday." Like he would just either do these random like weather reports. It's rainy with clouds.
Love him.
It's like, what are you doing? You're a director.
I still just love that we all enjoy the video of him being like, "Who the fuck cares how long it is?
Who the fuck cares how long a scene is?" Dude, I adore David Lynch. He's such a weirdo.
He is a weirdo. He's great. Welcome to Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast. It's very good to be here with you. What is the shirt you have on, Dustin? That's an anime?
Yeah,
Berserk.
it's Berserk.
I know it only by name. I really don't know anything about it.
This is where Miyazaki basically got all of his, style from, like beat for beat. And the sword, is the sword in this picture? No, the Berserk sword, the Guts sword. That's the Cloud's Buster sword. That's where it comes from.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay,
Berserk.
yeah, I don't know anything about it, to be honest. So it's that old.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I've not read all of the manga. There is some anime, some of it really bad, and some of it pretty good, but I've not seen it. I've only read it, and it is the darkest anything that I've ever read, ever. And I didn't even read all of it. I read the first arc, and it was so dark and depressing that I was like, I got to take a break. I've never gone back, but I'd like to.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't. Was the game that just came out? Wasn't that a Berserk? There's this role playing game that came out that got canceled, or the studio got shut down, or whatever. But that's a different Berserk, right? Or Berserker, maybe it was called.
Oh, the first Berserker Kazan or whatever.
Oh, that's different.
That's different. There is a Berserk. I want to say it's a Musou game, but I'm not positive on PlayStation 4. I
I
think.
didn't even know that.
Very interesting. White shirt, very dangerous.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous.
It's a little dangerous, but it's dangerous
Oh,
for me.
his sword, yeah. It's right here. That's the Buster sword.
Love that. Love that big sword. Very phallic. Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast. We go live each and every week. You can get us 3 days early and ad-free over on Patreon. Patreon.com/laststandmedia. You get a lot of perks over there as well. In addition to getting early ad-free access to our show, you get early ad-free access to all the shows in our network done by others. Maddie and Cog doing Defining Duke, our Xbox show. Brad doing Summon Sign and Punching Up with Micah as well, and so on and so forth. So please go support us over there. Other perks including getting access to the Discord, RSS feeds, and Spotify feeds, so you don't have to use the Patreon app to get your early ad-free podcasts. The ability to submit your inquiries into the threads in the news feed for all the shows each week. And of course, Sacred Symbols Plus, the Patreon exclusive supplement to this show. I just recorded a really great 2+ hour episode with Josh Davis, who's the guy who has done music recently for Lilymo and did the music for Saint Slayer. And so I think people are really going to enjoy that. We talk a lot about making the game and his experience doing music, and we get sidetracked a bunch too. But what's really fun about the conversation with him is, and one of the things I was asking him was, I am trying to read as many comments as I can about the game on the various trailers, whatever, and everyone loves the music. And so that must feel like a really nice thing. And I wanted to ask him about that. So yeah, we talk about a bunch of different things, have some teases in there about the game as well. We did an episode, I didn't, but Chris led it, a very well-received episode on Marathon, Chris.
Oh, good.
I don't know if you've seen the feedback, but people are really, really enjoying that episode a lot.
Oh, good.
So,
thank God. I was nervous about it.
Oh yeah, nothing to be nervous about. You've been doing a great job, and people have received that really well. So you got a collection of people together to talk about that, and that was fun. So that's live right now if you'd like to check that out. I talked to some people from a couple of, well, actually Matt Kapp, as we know, I've talked about with Lovish. I talked to the lead of sorcery.gg, which is a really interesting website about games, jobs, and so on and so forth. We got a bunch of things going on. Exciting times over at Sacred Symbols Plus. Please enjoy. Sacred streaming continues Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern time on our YouTube channel. Although you guys streamed off schedule, which is fine too. We do that occasionally to do Marathon again, which was fun. You guys did one of the more hardcore, what do you call it?
We did the Cryo Archive end game kind of map location.
Cool.
We did pretty good, actually. Like, we had a pretty good run. We eventually got trounced, but
Are you playing tonight, Chris?
yeah, certainly.
All right. We might need to link up if you need a third.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
That's cute. I like that. I like that you guys are doing that.
Do it live.
What'd you say, Dustin?
I say you got to. I just thought I'd ask him live.
Yeah,
that way
why-
you
I mean,
couldn't
that's-
say no.
Yeah, I know you can't. It would have been too awkward.
We'll
so
do
yeah,
it live. Fuck it. We'll
Still
do
one of the great. The best part of that low key is like after he's done and because it's live to tape that they show like the wide shot
The
and then
wide shot of him like slamming shit
Yeah.
and kicking the chair.
he like rips his lav off or something, like throws it or something. It's like so funny.
Fucking
It's so
insane.
funny. The pride of Long Island. God bless him. Sacred streaming. Let's see what else here I have. All right, so Dustin and I did just like a sit down conversation. That was fun to just kind of talk and shoot the shit. We let the audience kind of dictate what we were going to talk about. So that's all. This is on VOD over on YouTube if you want to check that out. Along with the return of the Sacred League, which we did a couple of weeks ago. Moriarty Cross Jaffe. We'll bring that back soon. I think the next stream I'm going to do is Starfield. We'll talk about Starfield later when we get to what we're playing, but I think that would be a good one to just mess around with. So that's where my mind is at with Sacred streaming coming up this coming week. The day this goes live on free feeds, indeed. Merch. LastStandMedia.store, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, stickers, etc. We appreciate your support and couldn't do without you. So come support us over at LastStandMedia.store. All right, topics of discussion. Let's stretch or spread our legs. Antonio C. wrote in and said, let's get back to spreading our legs and not stretching our legs at the start of the show. That is all. We could do that. I felt like it was a little vulgar. Saying you're spreading your legs is like very visual to me.
Come on in.
Yeah, like it's very welcoming.
Come on down here.
Come on in, boy.
That's
Oh man.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Sacred Symbols is sponsored by BetterHelp, a novel way to seek talk therapy that can help you live a better, more productive, and more fruitful life. Learn more for yourself now at betterhelp.com/symbols. Every human on this earth deals with his or her own stress, and yet the source of one's anxiety, fear, and worry revolve around similar themes: love, work, family, money, and so on. Though it's true that each human is as unique as an individual snowflake, so too is it true that many of our shared commonalities mean there's nothing you've gone through that someone else hasn't. And this is good news, because it means there are professionals that are trained to listen and help no matter what you might be dealing with. BetterHelp is a service that seeks to break down barriers and open up the world of mental health to as wide a net of people as possible. Because sessions are done remotely via video, audio, or even just by text, it means that you don't have to seek a professional in your area, go to an office, hope health insurance blunts some of the cost, and so on. And this high level of access makes care more affordable, interestingly enough, since you're cutting out any middlemen along the way. Instead, BetterHelp provides users with a brief questionnaire before matching them with one of more than 30,000 licensed therapists on their roster, with the ability to easily move to a new practitioner if you feel there could be a better fit for you. And since BetterHelp has, helped so many people around the world, more than 6 million users and counting in fact, their methods are time and people tested to the max, netting a 4.9 out of 5-star rating from more than 1.7 million client reviews. I've used therapy many times in the past, and while some people find continuous therapy useful, a lot of people just like me dip in and out as needed. It's with that looser construct of therapy in mind that I want you to open yourself up to what BetterHelp can do for you. You're not tied into anything. There are no expectations. Just a service that can help you with whatever might mentally ail you, all waiting for you to take the first step. So will you? When life feels overwhelming, therapy can help. Sign up now and get 10% off your first session at betterhelp.com/symbols. That's BetterHelp.com/SYMBOLS. Again, for remote, affordable, accessible, and high-quality therapy, head to betterhelp.com/symbols.
Sacred Symbols is sponsored by Shopify. Shopping online is a blessing, but sometimes a little bit of a curse. You finally found that one thing you want, you add it to your cart, you hit the checkout, and you realize your wallet is in the other room because you're still in your PJs. Thankfully, that's where Shopify's Purple Pay button comes in, with all your information saved, making payment as simple as a tap on your screen. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From names you know, like Last Stand Media, to brands just getting started. And once you get your store set up, it's easy to get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And one question I had was, what if I get stuck? Shopify's always around to share advice with their award-winning 24/7 customer support. See less carts go abandoned and more sales go with Shopify and their Shop Pay button. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/sacred. Go to shopify.com/sacred. That's shopify.com/sacred.
Boss 10 George wrote in and said, Colin, please, if you're not going to use a write-in, at least say the name of the person you're passing over. For those who have had their write-ins read, it's a dopamine hit you spend the whole episode chasing. Not getting chosen is one thing, but hearing what might have been your write-in was skipped altogether just leaves you feeling cheated. Thanks. See, I see it. I see what you're saying, but I'm surprised by that. Like, I'm surprised you would want to know that you were robbed completely of your opportunity to be in the show. Wouldn't it be better not to know?
Well, from their perspective, it's like a Schrodinger's victim in some sense, because it's like that might as well be me because I know that it could have been.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, point. I do this on our show all the time on Snark Tank. I just don't read it. I skip you. So you don't even understand that you've been skipped.
Yeah, I have no inner monologue. So as I'm deleting your stuff from the document, I'm like talking about how I'm deleting things from the document. Like you would ever know.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense.
I have no inner monologue.
No inner monologue. But yeah, I all right, fair enough. I mean, I know that's exciting. Like Micah was watching, she loves grilling and smoking and all that kind of stuff. So she watches all these people, creators in that space. And she was watching a streamer yesterday and the streamer acknowledged her. And that is always, and she was really excited about it. And that is exciting. Like I get excited with the few podcasts that I listen to or watch, or, when I interact with people online. And I also understand that I have a little bit of an advantage. Like when I've interacted with, like I always talk about Heed the Call, which is like a football podcast. Like I actually haven't listened to it in a while because I'm too depressed to listen to it with the Jet split. Mike is a huge fan. And I got her into it, but I've listened to it for years, and I've interacted with those guys, and even have spoken to them, in DM and stuff like that, which is really cool. And they're really, really friendly and nice guys, and I get a rush from that. But I also feel like I have an advantage because I'm a creator, and I have some sort of when I don't know if you guys have it on yours. There's a when you go to your notifications on Twitter, there's like a thing now that says priority. It's actually kind of cool.
I don't think I have that.
Maybe it's because I have the blue check or whatever.
Oh, probably, yeah.
And
no, yeah, it's here.
And it shows you like your friends and people you follow, which is kind of neat. And I always think it's so when I see people in these various lists, and then you see someone that has 200,000, I don't have that many followers, but however many, then you're like, oh, this is a more legit person, and then you interact with them. So I feel like I have that kind of advantage. In other words, I'd probably just be much more anonymous with a lot of these people.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because I basically had my notifications pre-tailored to be priority anyway. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, just give me notifications for only the people that I follow, or like big accounts that like,
right.
You know what I mean? So
something my Twitter does, and I didn't set this up, is that if someone of a certain, I assume it's a certain follower count, likes one of my tweets, it sends me a notification.
Right. Yeah.
So like when I tweeted about Marathon a week ago, I got a couple special likes. Some of them from assholes, but other ones, it was like Marathon dev team that was liking the tweet. And I was like, oh, and it told me. So there is definitely some advantage, Colin, with your high follower count, that if you respond to something, maybe they have that on too.
The only thing I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was going to say, like, I think like some like key Marathon devs followed me, and I was like, this is, it's not good. It's not good for the looks.
It's not a good look, dude.
Because now everybody's going to be like, oh,
when's the check coming in,
Chris? When's the check coming, Chris?
If only it were that easy.
I know, right? God. Good Lord.
Yeah, I think the thing that I feel bad about this, but and it's an old habit because I don't think you can even see public likes anymore, but I don't like anything. Because people used to look at that shit. Remember back and be like, oh, you like that? And so I think I just programmed myself to not like anything. But I have started to bookmark things to go back to them. Like, oh, this looks inappropriate. I'll bookmark this and look at this later, like some sort of fight video or something like that. It's not, you're in mixed company, as we like to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember there was this one period where, because that was around the time it's like a big thing was like, dude, we can see your likes. Was like a big kind of copy pasta going around. And I remember like responding to somebody like that, but before I did it, I just liked an egregious amount of like, I can't remember what it was, but I just looked for like Tumblr style, like DeviantArt, like really weird, not safe for work stuff. And I just littered my likes with it so that people would like screenshot it and stuff. It was fun to play with the fact that people could see likes, because you could almost be kind of passive aggressive with it. And now you kind of can't. It's a bit of a bummer. I wish it was a thing you could turn on and off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
sure.
that would be nicer.
Is it true that likes got turned off after people saw that Elon liked some like kinky thing? Or is that just happenstance? I mean, it is literally true, but it also could be happenstance. You know what I mean? I want to believe.
I don't. I still think about Ted Cruz liking that porn video on 9/11.
Good shit. That's the thing that bums me out too. Is with the likes is, so I didn't like anything. So when you go to the likes, it would say like user hasn't liked anything or whatever. But then occasionally I would like things by accident, which I still do. Right. And then people be like, why did you like this or whatever? And it's like the one thing I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like I'm scrolling. Yeah. It's too easy to like things. It's not like retweeting where it brings up a little thing and you make sure you're doing it anyway. Who cares? All right. Boss 10 George, thank you for writing in. Jonathan Turner says how guys. How? I appreciate that. It's very very nice to include the American Indian.
How?
Pretty simple question. How is everyone doing? Mental health. That's why I was on his mind probably. How is everyone doing? Mental health, physical health, everything in between. How's business? How's life, Dustin?
Man, he said this is a simple question, but then he lists like multiple different facets.
Multiple existential facets of your life.
Yeah. Well, mental health, good, improving. I felt like over the winter time, I think I may have had some seasonal related depression. And not the kind that's like, I feel sad. It's I don't feel motivated to do anything other than what I have to. And I don't find pleasure in the things I normally do. So I started taking, I think it's vitamin D supplement.
Yeah.
And that made it better. And now it's starting to get nicer out. So I'm spending a little more time outside and that's getting better. So that's good. Physical health is average, could be better. Definitely not great, but not horrible. How's business? I just did taxes yesterday. They bent me over.
Yeah, the worst.
Yeah. I'm stretched.
I'm doing that tonight.
Fuck taxes. Fuck it all. I hate it.
The worst.
But life overall, I feel good. I feel optimistic. Holly's very healthy. The baby's healthy. And it's coming up soon. So pretty good. Pretty good.
It's tax season. What do I owe you? Well, you tell me.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
So like, tell me.
Yeah, tell me.
I don't know. This time of year, this is the worst time of year to ask this question.
I have a theory
Quite
about
frankly.
taxes.
Yeah. Oh,
okay. The
good.
three of us, because we are, either Colin as a business owner or Chris and I as independent contractors, we don't have the government send us a refund. Like we don't have something taken out of our pay. So at the end of it, you have to save that money throughout the year. And some of you're very familiar with this. Others have never done this. You have to save that money. It just sits there in an account. I have a secondary savings account that I just put money into throughout the year. Yeah. Thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars.
The move would be... I'm sorry, go ahead. I don't want to...
Just finish out this thought. My theory is, if everyone had to do that and pay the lump sum of their taxes at the end of the year, I don't want to say revolution, but there would be a lot more pissed off people.
Yeah,
because
probably.
It is, dude. It's just like so much money just gone. Poof.
Yeah.
And you feel it so much more that way
for nothing.
Easily. That's the key thing, right? It's like it is the for nothing.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like I get anything. Like I don't give it. Like I understand the concept of like contributing to the social. Like I get it.
Sure.
Like I'm all for it, really. But like honestly, I'm not even joking. Bare minimum, just bare minimum healthcare would be fine. Like because healthcare is expensive as is. So like you're kind of paying a shit ton anyway for that anyway. So like just have that lumped in. Like I would feel a lot better about paying fucking $10,000 to $15,000 in or whatever, however much in taxes. If I knew that, like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go to the doctor every fucking week. You know, because as it stands right now, I'm like, I'm not going to the doctor.
Yeah, why even bother?
Why the fuck would I go to the doctor?
So you can go see like a doctor, a physician's assistant, and never even see the doctor.
Yeah, like I'm not,
and they'll tell you to go to another doctor.
Right,
Yeah.
they'll tell you to go somewhere else, and then it's like he's actually not in network. Actually, and you're like, oh, you have to get a blood panel, and you have to get this checked out, and like you got to go there though, and you got to go all the way to fucking Mid City, and I'm like, I'm not going to Mid City.
I'll just die.
Thank you. You know.
It's so funny how our humor is so similar, where we both said, "I'll just die, thank you."
I'm good. Can't do it, man.
Can't do it.
Can't do it, man. Sorry.
The medical situation, the cost of medical care, like Mike and I, we have to buy like on the market, which you guys do too.
Yep. So
me and Mike, I think, pay about $1,000 a month combined for like, moderate health insurance.
Sure.
And I am getting to the point with, it's actually the thing more than anything else, where I'm like, what the fuck do you guys think you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what do you think you're doing? What is this? Like, like nothing about this is right. Nothing about this is okay. And no one gets the medical care that they really need in the United States because it's so fucking labyrinthine and expensive. And I understand, like, it is true. We have a very high rate of good care here. If you can afford care and get it and have access to it, it's the best in the world. And we have the best medical schools in the world. A lot of the medical ingenuity comes from the United States and all the rest. I get all that. And,
sure.
and it costs money. I get that. And doctors in like the UK and other places get paid like shit, which is also unacceptable. But
right.
I'm like, what is this? Like, this is so fucking wrong. And it's crazy that we don't use the power of government to balance that sort of thing. Like all the other things that it inserts itself into, it's like, what about this really important thing?
Yeah. I feel like it's arguably its only primary purpose is like to kind of like, hey, can we, I don't know. I think I don't know, whatever. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I mean, who cares? It's not none of it's going to change. It's what I keep saying over and over again about everything. Everything's getting worse. Yeah. And I am old enough, and we all are old enough, really, to know that things used to be better in every way.
I actually wanted to bring this up because I tweeted about it earlier today, and like you guys can tell me if I'm off base, and also the audience can tell me if I'm off base. The Lord knows they like to do it.
Tell me about it.
But I do think like it is. There's an automatic trap that I think everybody naturally falls into, where like they associate the simplicity of childhood with like better times because it's so simple and because responsibilities are so low. And I think that's true no matter what. Like somebody in like 1950 was like, oh, it was way better in the 1920s when, the depression was going on somehow because they were a child or whatever. But I do think on some level, on like almost an objective level, that most things are kind of materially and objectively and obviously worse. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I'm like squaring that. I don't know if that's me trying to retrofit current observations with like my own pre-made bias of like, oh, childhood was simple, or if it's objectively obviously true. But I think it's objectively obviously true. Right?
Yeah.
Like things are worse.
Yeah. Everything, like food is worse, quality is worse, service is worse. Expectations are worse because you don't expect to be treated like when you go to a store, you don't expect to be treated well. When you go to you deal with a service, you don't expect to get the service you paid for. Like they're changing the ingredients and everything you love. They're like shitifying everything. Like it's so obvious. Like I keep using 9/11 as that random hinge year where I'm like, it's not even about it just happens to be a millennium thing. Like everything before that was better. Like in my opinion, the 90s will be looked at as like the peak of Americana forever. and we may never get back to that. And it's too bad. And I'm just happy that I lived it during that time. But yeah, everything lacks a certain innocence. Everything lacks a certain quality. Everything lacks it feels increasingly dystopian. And I think we look at dystopia as like, there's a revolution and now like the fascists are in charge and there's like big red flags with swastikas. It's like, that's not really what dystopia is. Like it's a slow slide into, it's like cyberpunk, like the world of cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Where there's ads and everything, and like there's an app for your fucking shoelaces that you got to subscribe to tie them, and like all this weird. I can't believe we allowed this to happen. So like the subscription model thing, I'm astounded that we've let happen so deeply, as deeply as we've let it happen.
Because we hated cable. That's why we hated it.
It's all from cable.
It's all cable's fault.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It's like, it's funny. It's like the cabs and the Uber stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone wanted to see the cab companies die. I remember it because the cabs were awful if you lived in a city. And Chris probably knows this better than Dustin would, but like you would get into a cab in parts of New York, or you would get it into a cab in San Francisco in 2007, 2008, 2009, and they wouldn't even bring you certain places, or they wouldn't take anything but cash, or like they would. I remember getting out of Kaiser Permanente in San Francisco after a surgery, hailing a cab, and I told him I was going to the Sunset, and he's like, "Oh no," and then just drove away. And that kind of shit was like, fuck these guys. And so when Uber came out, we were like, destruction of these companies. And then you look back and you're like, but now I can't hail a cab. Now I can't, like, the idea of just spontaneously getting into a ride. You can only really do that in New York.
Hailing a cab is a fun, like, that is, well, also I should note, like, that whole, like, oh, I'm not going to go there very much still happens. That very much still. I've definitely hailed a cab and I'm like, hey, I'm going to the airport, and they're like, no. And they speed up. It's like crazy taxi. Right. It's crazy, but I guess literally crazy taxi in this sense. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's just there was a time too where a lot of that was like, I don't know if subsidized is the right word, but like they didn't have to immediately be profitable, and so they kind of oversold their viability. Like Postmates and Uber, there was a point in time where they were cheaper than it cost to operate, really, to kind of get people on board and get people used to it, so that by the time they hiked the prices to where it would actually cost, people were so dependent and accustomed to it that they just kind of had to deal with it. Because I remember when Postmates, like you could get, dude, I remember ordering food on Postmates used to be so ridiculously cheap. Like it was absurd. Like there would be, it was almost no reason to not do it.
Do you remember when it was? This I remember really well, like when it was new. So this was probably 12, 13, 14 years ago, something like that, where it was like there would be like a field and you would like say what you wanted. Like there wasn't, in other words, there was no like automated, like you select all. It's like go to McDonald's and get me a number 2 with all that, and you'd put it in the field, and then the person would do that, because the entire idea was like they would go anywhere and do anything for you. And it became more of like a
notes in there. You could put notes in there to customize very specifically. You can't do that anymore. A lot of what's wrong now is a lot of like companies that would start up, they would operate at a tremendous loss and become so prevalent that like bigger companies would buy them, buy out their debt, set them up for life, and then they were left with like a shell of a thing that didn't really work, and they would have to hike the prices up eventually. That's why Postmates is like Uber Eats now, even though both apps work. They were purchased a while ago, and now everything's more expensive. Because they were operating at like a fake. It's like how Netflix wasn't profitable for like 20 years or some shit. It's like,
Amazon's the same. Yeah,
what are you doing?
You force these new markets and then try to basically kill everyone around you, and then you raise prices. But it's just interesting. And so I just bring that up because cable is the same thing. Like I remember like in the aughts, everyone's like, I can't fucking stand this shit anymore. There's like so many. Well, because I remember when TiVo came out, I was in high school, and I knew someone that had TiVo like early in college, and I was like, wow, this is fucking amazing. Like, and then you start skipping the commercials. Then you start getting access to VOD, which happened really before streaming. And then you're like, why am I sitting here waiting for appointment television? And then Netflix streaming starts, Hulu comes in, all these others, and then it's over. And then you go fast forward 15 or 20 years and you're like, oh, I just have a new cable bill. Great.
Yeah.
And by the way, everything I never really have any streaming services for TV and movies unless I want something. So I got Hulu a few days ago because I want to rewatch The Handmaid's Tale. There's like a new Handmaid's Tale series out. So I've been doing that, and I'm like, dude, it's like $20 a month.
It's absurd.
I'm like, what? Like, wasn't Hulu like $6 or something? Like, what? Like, for Hulu? All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm going to watch this shit at light speed and be gone in a month. But if that, the other thing is that if you just kept your prices normal, you'd probably ultimately get more money out of me because I would just let it go. That's the other thing where like there's a tension that they've created. That's why I think this, I mean, not to give too deep of a peek behind the curtain, but like low pricing on Patreon is beneficial for us. And why we've never raised prices is because like we want it to be inconsequential. Like I want there to be no financial tension where it's like, I can't afford this. It's like, well, you can't afford $5 a month. You most likely can. And so but like 20, 25, I think Netflix 4K is like $30 a month or something. It's like, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
4K streaming in general is, the fuck are you doing?
I don't know.
You're not getting that. You're not like, and what would be the benefit? Like, I don't know, man. That's. See, he asked how we're doing now. I'm just fucking.
Yeah, now we're upset. I'm not.
We just spent like so much time.
Taxes.
Yeah,
it all stems from that, dude.
Taxes. Oh my god. Yeah,
this time of year is the most Republican I'll ever be.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, this is the time of Republicans.
Right, April.
I can't. I've been very blessed in my life. I can't believe how much money I pay in taxes. It makes me want to die. And so, because I don't mind state and local taxes, that never bothered me. I bitch about my property tax because I own my house, and I'm like, why am I paying property tax on something I own? But I get it. It's a social contract. I'm totally fine with that. The federal government, man, I fucking hate the federal government. I really do. And so my money will pay for a fraction of a fucking Tomahawk missile, and they'll bomb some fucking bridge with it, and then it's like, okay, cool. And then
we're gonna charge you a lot of money to let Iran make millions of dollars off the Strait of Hormuz. I hope it was worth it. It's really great. God.
And I just
God help us.
I just can't. I can't. With the like when I get because I pay myself once a year, and so everything's done in lump sums, right? And I'm like, what? You know, like you'll see like the like I don't get it. I get whatever it is, a W-2 from my from ADP or whatever, and I'm like, what? Like for what? What are you doing for me? Are you out of your fucking minds? And then I look around my neighborhood, or I look around my town, or whatever, and I just multiply these numbers, and you're like, Jesus Christ, you know. And then they'll run up a deficit.
Right.
That's the best part, by the way.
It wouldn't be so bad if I didn't hear about how like, oh hey, yeah, we lost like $2 billion.
Oh my God, that would be
like,
$2 billion.
It's just like, well, and it's like, well, what you need my 10 grand?
I'm pretty sure.
Like,
I'm pretty sure the federal government is spending something like $7 trillion a year.
Cool.
It's like, whoa. And by the way, they'll be like, all right, so we collected 5.5 trillion. So we're gonna just add all of this money to the deficit every year. They do it, and it's like, damn, dude, this is the least partisan shit ever, in my opinion. This is like, so it's like medical care. It's like there's nothing partisan about it. What are you doing? Like both sides of the on the field can come together and be like, the refs are fucking crazy. You know, like that's kind of what's.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. I can't do this.
Come on, man.
So I'm doing bad. Thank you for writing in, Jonathan.
It's the government doesn't even ask you for your taxes anymore. They just look at you like this.
Yeah.
And it's that image of fucking Brendan Fraser from The Whale.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that like my friends took me to see The Whale for my birthday?
No.
That's awesome.
They're like, happy birthday, Chris. Let's go see The Whale.
Didn't he get like a 20-minute standing ovation at like Cannes or something like that for that movie?
And it is a good movie, but like the standing ovation thing is kind of like a joke at this point.
I'd be
like
so embarrassed if it went on for more than a couple of minutes.
I'd be
like, all right, like,
all right, enough. All right,
like crazy. It's crazy. Great, thanks, Jonathan. You really fucked up the entire show.
Yeah.
Professor of Logic at the University of Science wrote in and said Dustin hid his trophies. Not a real gamer.
Yeah, I don't want you guys seeing the type of shit that I play anymore. I've had enough. But no, we addressed this, Colin, on streaming on Monday. I had to hide my trophies because I got to check out Roller Coaster Tycoon for PlayStation before it was announced. And I didn't want to be the one that blew the secrecy on it. Xbox did the very next day, apparently. Shill, yeah. But that's the reason. And I just haven't unhid them. I just keep forgetting. So
Chill.
I will unhide them soon.
Oh, I was looking at trophies here. Power Wash Simulator 2's first DLC trophies for Adventure Time have gone live.
Oh.
I guess I'll have to go back to the old grind, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just doing what the customers need.
Stepping into worlds you have no context for at all.
I don't have any questions. Yeah, Adventure Time is another thing where I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here to do a job. Yeah.
The funniest thing about that is like it is technically, if you care, more immersive to not know anything about these DLC spaces. Just like a real employee would theoretically. Yeah.
This is me role playing to the maximum degree, right?
It's what is it? Ludonarrative cohesion.
Yeah, there you go. Very good. Very good. Very sophisticated.
Yes.
Chris Hendricks wrote in and said, hey, CDC, the weather is getting nicer outside and Taco Tuesday is becoming a real thing again. So which do you prefer? Tacos or burritos? And if burritos, handled or wet? Oh, wet burrito, no. Tacos, here's the thing about tacos. I love a good taco. Street taco, whatever. I just don't understand why you'd rather have tacos than a burrito. Like the burrito is such a superior, like the burrito is one of the great foods, period. And so you could choose them both and there's a place for both, but like I feel like the taco's a little lighter, obviously, but you got to eat a few of them. The hard shell taco I feel like is a fucking abomination. And I really don't like the hard shell taco. It breaks. What's the point? What are we doing? The soft shell taco, the corn tortilla, I can do with that. Though.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I do like a hard shell taco, but I am often frustrated with it. I don't know. Burritos are way better. Burritos are burritos clear tacos, in my opinion. And I didn't have a burrito until like a real proper burrito until like I was kind of an adult, really. Because it's not really, I don't know, Mexican food's just not really a thing over where I was growing up. It was more about like pretty much everything else. And you didn't really have a desire or a need for it. And Taco Bell, you weren't really getting Taco Bell out there either. So even fast food burritos weren't really a big thing. So like when I moved out here, I think I had like my first burrito, and I think it was like a place called Taco Azteca, which is like funny, but and it blew my mind. I was like, oh, this is a great invention, whatever the fuck this is. Tacos, they're fine.
What the fuck is that chicken place in Santa Monica I used to order from all the time? It was like a Mexican chicken place, and what you would do, they would have like half or whole rotisserie chickens. And then you would just order like tortillas on the side and make your own, and you'd like just rip it off oh God, it was so good. You're right though. In New York, I mean, New York's very Hispanic, but there's something.
Well, it's not Mexican,
right? Exactly. And there was like, a burrito place that I would go to on like, or a Mexican place, but like you had to go out of your way. It wasn't one of those things where you, in my experience, where you fell over it. And there was a place in Boston I used to go to when I was in college that was really good, but yeah, not until living in California that you really imbibe the burrito. And the California burrito is my favorite. That's the one with like the French fries in it. It's so good. It's so good. It has no business.
The burrito is the New York slice of California.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Like it is. It's the thing.
Love it. Love the burrito. Love Mexican food generally is just really kind of on point. The flavors and all that. There's things I don't like. Like they have some of the stinky cheeses and shit, like the cojito or whatever they call it. I'm like, ugh, like that's shit's gross as hell. But
what's the chocolate? Oh my God, mole.
Oh, mole. Yeah, mole. But that was what I told you. Remember, I told you the story about how I ate mole for years without knowing that it was chocolate, and then when I found out I couldn't eat it anymore.
That's so crazy.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's so good. I had mole for the first time at a cigar lounge in downtown LA. Some dude in the back of this cigar lounge was just like making food. And he was like, yo, what do you want? And I was like, oh, just give me a taco or whatever. And he was like, you want mole? And I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And he goes like, trust me, you'll like it. And he didn't tell me it was chocolate, but like it was bomb. It makes no sense that it's as good as it is.
It is really good. Like it was just a mental hurdle. Like funny enough, I discovered it from Qdoba when I was in Boston. Like that was an option. And I thought it was like, I didn't know what I thought it was. I don't know if I thought it was like emulsified beans or something. Like I don't know what I thought it was, but then I ate it like dozens of times. And then I went once with someone and they're like, you don't like, I thought you didn't like chocolate. And I'm like, I don't. And they're like, mole is chocolate. And that was the end of that.
I've never had it.
It's very good.
Cocoa, I guess, technically. I don't want to make it seem like you're like.
It doesn't taste like chocolate though.
No,
as you're eating. Like there's no hint of like, oh, this is Hershey's. It just tastes like a different. I don't even know how to describe it really. It's been a while since I've had it too, so I don't even know if I'm really even remembering correctly. All I remember was that it was fucking delicious.
Yeah.
And I was sad I never saw that guy again. One thing I will say is like the street tacos, the street Mexican food is actually significantly, I don't know what it is, but like you sit, even in California, you sit down in a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, and sometimes it's just like, what the fuck are these people doing? It's kind of inconsistent. Often kind of not that great, but like the street vendors are so good all the fucking time. I don't know what it is. Maybe they're on the street, so it's like they have to be. It's like survival of the fittest or something. Like, I don't know what it is. They don't have like a break room or something that they could like seek refuge from the hostile world. But
that's funny, man.
So good.
Yeah, street tacos, like with the onion and the cilantro on top.
Yeah.
Oof, corn tortilla. Ooh.
Do you like cilantro rice? Or
yes,
like cilantro?
I love cilantro.
I hate it.
I get, like, I can kind of see where people are like, oh, it tastes like soap. Like I understand that, but I don't know. It doesn't.
I think it's delicious, dude.
I'm fascinated by it having some sort of quality that is so divisive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like olives.
Yeah. Like yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
I grew up with olives, so like I didn't realize that they were an acquired taste. And when I grew up, and like I would eat olives I would literally spoon a bunch of olives into a fucking mug and eat like olives out of the mug. And like my friends are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "What?" Because I didn't know. I really did not know until like the last like couple years, like maybe the last 3 years, that they were an acquired taste. Because I've been eating them my entire fucking life. My parents would just mix it in rice and like sauces and all sorts of shit.
Bring out the olives. Oh, my favorite.
The manzanilla olives with the red pimento in it. Fucking delicious.
Yeah, you like that. Yeah, that brand, they make like really good.
They're Goya.
Jarred, like cured, whatever it would be, pickled vegetables.
I remember Goya got in a big thing was like that they like the CEO was like a big Trump guy.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was telling me, it's like, so you're gonna not eat Goya anymore? I was like, no shot. Like that shit is so good. Like I don't care. I said this a long time ago. Like if there was like a pizza, if my favorite pizza shop was like, we hate Puerto Ricans and we want every Puerto Rican to suffer, I was like, I would maybe go there slightly less.
I'm the same.
Like I'll cut it down from 3 times a week to once. But I'm going. Like I want that. I want my slice.
Yeah, the Goya guy, what was funny about him was like he was like one of the very first Trump supporters, and I remember that being very, very interesting to people. We buy Goya black beans, I want to say. We enjoy
good,
those.
Man.
Yeah, they are good.
They're good.
God bless Mr. Goya and his enterprise.
Senor Goya.
Corey Ramon wrote in with one last thing, kind of more of an inquiry, maybe a correction, something of this nature, and then we'll get into the news. He says, "Hi, Colin. Will you admit to being wrong about PlayStation's PC push now that they're scrapping it all, or do we not do that here?" Corey, are you fucking deaf?
Yeah, we've definitely done this, right?
Are you deaf? Are you fucking deaf? Thank you for writing in. All right, let's get into the news. There's not too much big stuff this week, but a culmination of some smaller items that I think we can get into here. The first one comes from a posting via Reset Era on Instagram. Reset Era, of course, is a gaming forum. It's trash, but of course we have to cite who we cite. It's where things come from, because I would have never seen this otherwise. And this person on Reset Era found an Instagram post from Sean Eskag. Sean Eskag is the director of Uncharted: The Lost Legacy and the director of The Last of Us Part 1. So like, remember when they remade it on redid it on PS5 and released it in 2022. And in between The Lost Legacy and The Last of Us, he actually went to Crystal Dynamics, you guys might remember, and was the creative director of Avengers. So thanks for that. But he came back and he did The Last of Us, and now he's working on something else. He's an animator by trade. Actually, I was reading a little bit about him, Chris. His first project was as an animator on Prototype. So that was
look at that.
Fairly interesting.
The gift that keeps on giving.
So on Instagram, he posted this interesting thing and it's interesting only by context. And it was posted back in February, by the way. So this person just saw this in April, which is why I thought it was only fair to cite it, because I would have never seen it. It's a picture of a cannon overlooking a bay somewhere, maybe tropical or subtropical. I mean, there's a palm tree in the picture. And it just says research ... Dustin, what do you make of this? I mean, this is clearly some sort of reference to Uncharted. I don't know what else you would think. Like, what would Naughty Dog
the exact opposite.
Oh, really?
I don't think there's anything clear about it being Uncharted.
Well, I mean, like, what
for sure.
Well, let me put it this way, because you're right.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way instead. Why would Naughty Dog make a game that would look indistinguishable from Uncharted? Which, like, so they're gonna have another tropical setting with like ancient cannons overlooking. I mean, that is Uncharted. Like, you're going for the same aesthetic, the same. I don't know. I think it's weird. And he is the director of an Uncharted game. So I do think from all of those there is something to it, in my opinion. But I understand what you're saying. What do you think?
Yeah, we need that GeoGuessr guy to find out where this is.
Yeah, true enough.
But I definitely get it. Like the cannon, the location, all of that feels very Uncharted. But at the same time, I could see him, maybe he's there for researching a different location, and this is the picture that he happened to take. It's not necessarily he's researching this spot, but maybe. Or it could be something completely different. I guess, I don't, it seems weird because we always thought that maybe a different team was working on an Uncharted game. It feels a little, I guess it's not weird that Naughty Dog would make another Uncharted game, but to me, it's like, if I wouldn't want to do that anymore. Like, I'd be like, we've made basically 5 of these games if you include Lost Legacy. Do we really need to like keep doing this? So it certainly could be, but at the same time, I don't read too much into it personally.
What do you think, Chris?
I don't know, man. If it wasn't for the research tag, I wouldn't think much of it. You know what I mean? I would, if it was just this photo and there is just like, hey, I'm in Trinidad and Tobago or whatever. You know what I mean? Because that's, I think, it's where this is. But the fact that it says research, it does kind of lead me to believe that, like, I mean, this is clearly, I mean, not clearly, I should say, but like, I mean, it's hinting at least something related to Uncharted. I don't know if he. So here's the thing: he's the creative director of a Naughty Dog game, or not of a Naughty Dog game, but like of an Uncharted game, right?
Yep. Yeah, Lost Legacy.
So it doesn't. Would it be unreasonable to say that, like, oh, he directed an Uncharted game? Maybe Naughty Dog isn't doing it, but he's involved in some way.
Yeah, they could be consulting, maybe, or doing something.
Like consulting, like, I don't know. This screams Uncharted to me. I just don't know what else it could be, really. And if it is not Uncharted, then it's something else that's like so adjacent and so similar as to be insane to pursue. If they were just like, oh, we're making an island adventure game that has nothing to do with Uncharted, it's like, really? Why?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like, my problem too, is like, I just don't think so.
I don't know. I'm a little bit more, I'm leaning towards your inclination where it's just like, yeah, this is definitely something. It's that research tag. Like that kind of says it to me. If it was just this, is he's on vacation.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
just, like taking pictures of stuff. But like the fact that he went out of the way to say like, oh, research. Like it's definitely a tease of something.
Yeah, I agree.
And if not Uncharted, then what is it?
And I also think it's interesting just that, I mean, deleting it would dry sand it, although no one really realized what it was at the time. So he could have maybe still gotten away with it. But I just don't think I love the idea of things being kind of intentionally leaked or intentionally hinted at. And they're so buttoned up that they don't do things kind of, the director of the game wouldn't make mistakes like that. I understand what Dustin is saying, but that it could be anything, but I just don't know how you can't read that as Uncharted. I mean, that looks like an Uncharted screenshot. Like
it does kind of, yeah.
Like I actually, when I first saw it, I was like, is that a render? Because specifically because of the stone, it's not, but specifically because of the stones, like the thin stones underneath the cannon, it kind of looks fake. And I was like, oh, what is that?
Yeah, but even the rust on top of the, like that bright blue paint on the cannon looks kind of like, it almost looks like a game design thing. It's like, look, a cannon is here for you to, you know what I mean? It feels very gamey. It's really the background that kind of gives it away, like the the distant kind of horizon. It's like, oh, that looks so realistic that it looks as bland as it should. But everything in the foreground looks like, it does look like a video game, or it looks like Uncharted, I should say.
And you're right about it being Trinidad and Tobago, by the way. I didn't see that. So yeah, we know that that's where they were. Okay. Go ahead, Dustin.
I was going to say, here's an idea. Uncharted prequel about Francis Drake.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would actually be fucking awesome.
Something about like where the origin of one of the treasures from the games come from.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Dustin. To like do something, even an interplay where you play half of it as in the past and half of it in the present. Would be kind of interesting.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It could be cool.
A few people wrote in about this, but I went with Nashville Nibbler. Says, what's up, sacred fellas? Are we finally about to see the return of our favorite mass murdering retriever of antiquities? Sean SK, creative director at Naughty Dog, dropped a cryptic Instagram post that has the internet convinced that a new Uncharted is in development, which lines up perfectly with that Cassie Drake live from PS5 ad we saw in early 23. My question for you, gentlemen, with Intergalactic hopefully launching next year, when do you think Uncharted might make its comeback? The audience knows, I mean, I'm doubling down on and tripling and quadrupling down. Like, I'm convinced that an Uncharted game is in development. I don't think the Cassie Drake thing is a coincidence. And even the timing of Sean SK's directorial stuff indicates that 23 would have been, so early 23 with the Cassie Drake stuff could have been the time at which it's like, yeah, let's tease that we're really going to start doing something like this now. Because again, as I said, The Lost Legacy is 2018 or something, and then maybe even 2017, and then The Last of Us Part 1 is 2022. So he would be free to do the next thing. I think the commonality. Well, I don't want to speak for everyone, but it doesn't seem like people don't want more Uncharted. I don't think they beat it into the ground quite as bad as they could have. And when you really think about most of the Uncharted games, like even if you take into account Golden Abyss from Bend, all of these games, like Golden Abyss came out right after Uncharted 3, you guys might recall, like a few months later. So Drake's Fortune, Among Thieves, Drake's Deception, Golden Abyss all come out by early 2012. Then you have one Uncharted game in 2016, and then its expansion basically in 2017. It's really not that much comparable to like what it could be. And so like, I don't think it's crazy that they would make it. I don't think it's crazy that it's going to be about Cassie Drake. And I don't think it's crazy that it's probably been in development for years. And in fact, I feel like with the success of the Uncharted film, especially, there's more juice to get out of this thing. And they would be kind of stupid not to do it. Uncharted is fucking awesome. I mean, it's like really like one of the great flawless franchises. Like what is wrong with it? Nothing. It's excellent. Even the shit where people are like, oh, Uncharted 3 is kind of like Uncharted 3 is better than like 99.99% of games ever made. You're comparing it to like Uncharted 2.
Sure.
So to me, I'm like, there's more. The one thing that I think would be interesting is this would be really the first time that it would be totally undertaken from the floor without Amy Hennig. Because obviously Uncharted 4, the way it was delivered was not her vision and not her story, but a lot of that stuff was from her. game and they reworked it into the new game. And I know that, as I've said, because I saw the whole layout of her game on a wall once of all the locations and everything. And those locations are in the Uncharted 4 that we know. So I don't think it's that crazy. And I think if I remember, my theory was that they might have had a secret external team doing this, like a team that were going to announce or whatever, but seems like it's them. And I don't hate it. Especially if the rumors are true that they have 3 games going. Because then it's like, well, it's like intergalactic, Uncharted, something else that's new.
Maybe pre-production on something else. I don't know. I agree generally. Like I think they've been pretty good about restraint with Uncharted. You know, it's been 9 years. 10 actually.
Yeah, be 10. It will be, yeah, because it's a spring game. Actually, I think it was spring 2016. Uncharted 4.
2017 technically with Lost Legacy, but so like 9 years still since. But that's a long ass time to go without anything. And I think that's it. That's just enough time, maybe even more than just enough time for people to be like, yeah, that would be cool to see again. So yeah, I think it's a no brainer to do an Uncharted. I do wonder what it would be and how they'll evolve it. I also do think you're right. Like it must be them, right? Because like every other studio that's available to do it is closed or busy or sold or whatever. Bluepoint ain't doing it.
Yeah. And well,
you ain't doing it.
That's the other thing, Chris, is that some people are wondering, is it even a remake of the original Uncharted, which is also possible? And I think that would be cool too. I think that though, like the God of War games at Santa Monica, the Greek games, it's a waste of their time. Like I'm really annoyed that Santa Monica is making those games, because it's like, what do you like? That's so fucking whack that you guys
there was a studio that could have done it.
Yeah. If only. And
yeah,
it's the same thing with like Uncharted 1, I think could be remade. It's an old, we talked about this a week or two ago. It's 20 years old almost. It's 19 years old. And it's a great game. The first Uncharted is awesome, but it's old. And 20 years is by the time, I mean, even imagining getting it out for the 20th anniversary, that makes perfect sense to me too. And hopefully you can do maybe even both of those things. But I know people are a little puzzled by my adherence to this theory, but I just do not believe that 2023 ad was a coincidence or nothing. I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe it. That doesn't make sense.
It's a basic pattern recognition. Like, and to be fair, it could be that there was something planned or in development that was scrapped. That's also a possibility.
Sure.
Where like maybe the game existed and then they were like, and it went far enough along into development that they were like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then I don't know, whatever, something fell apart or that's possible. But even that assumption operates under the expectation that at the game existed in some form. So they were doing it. Every other vignette in that trailer is something that you can point to that exists, except for that. And so, yeah, that's weird. That's not like a normal. You don't have like a random thing that doesn't amount to anything in like in a huge ad campaign for your entire IP portfolio.
Yeah, and everything else in there is identified as something. So so also this live action whatever it was would be the only thing in there that wasn't a game. Yeah. It's like the thing that like Uncharted 4 ends clearly making Cassie like the receiver of the Drake legacy. And that's obvious. Then you combine it with the ad and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know like why that's such a far-flung theory. And I would want to see that. We talk about the feminization of PlayStation Studios, which I agree. So now we're going to get another fucking female protagonist, but this is the one that I think this is cool. Especially if I said this before, like my story for it would be she like goes on an adventure and Drake and Sully basically have to go and help her or rescue her in some way. So like, and it's a young Drake moment where like, you don't really know that you're going to play as Drake, Nathan Drake. It's something that maybe they keep hidden. And then chapter 11 or something, you're suddenly playing as a gray Nathan Drake or with an older Elena.
He's like a Sully kind of figure.
Right, exactly. And Cassie like gets into a shitload of trouble, and so like he has to kind of like go back into the field and help her or whatever. I think that would be
super fun.
Cool. Yeah,
I do think. I just think it makes sense. I think they've been building to something, or not been building, but like they left it. They left a cliffhanger, not a cliffhanger, but they left it open to explore in that direction. And I think, they would be dumb not to do it. I think
the ending of Uncharted 4 is super cool. Like, I don't want to spoil it like beat for beat, but it's like a really cool idea. I wonder.
I got to replay it.
Yeah, I played it a couple of years ago. I want to say I replayed it, and I played The Lost Legacy actually for the first time, and it's so good. Like it is just that Naughty Dog magic of, it's what I say about Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto. Like, you spend enough time and money that you should have expectations that things respond like this. And I play that game and I'm like, this is a crazy game. It's so much better than almost everything else. And it's not like an intrinsic Naughty Dog talent, though, that's there. It's like just money and time. If you believe and scope things in a very certain way and give people enough space, they can create they can hang themselves, but typically they'll create something pretty amazing. And Uncharted 4 is a really extraordinary game. So I want more Uncharted. I think it's time. It is certainly not a franchise that's been beaten into the ground in any way, shape, or form. And I think it's fairly obvious, in my opinion. So Dustin and I guess disagree with it on that front. I think it would be so weird if they did something where that was like a research photo of like something where I'm like, so you're in the Caribbean with an antique cannon.
It's for Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like some new IP, and I'm like, so you like, I don't know. That would actually be a little more disappointing. It's like, that's what's so cool about Intergalactic is it's so distinct from what they've done. And I would hope that if they continue to do new things, which I'll take all day, keep going in different directions. I'd like to see something. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, it's been so long. Like, I love this restraint in general. Like, I wish more franchises did it, where they just went a long time without doing something or hinting at doing something, you know? It gives you a chance to miss it. I think that's why, honestly, like, even Gears E-Day, like that Gears of War game, is like, there's a lot more positive buzz around that, or like positive sentiment around that game than I would expect. It's purely because it's been, like, 2019 was the last Gears game. That wasn't like a remaster or something. People are excited to revisit these places because they're fucking good. And Uncharted is like, Uncharted 1 even is like very charming.
Oh, it's super charming. It's super good. Yeah, Uncharted was a franchise that was at ground zero of the turnaround of PlayStation, and it was really Uncharted 2 that did it. But I remember that fall of 2007 when Uncharted 1 came out, there was good feelings around it. I remember that very well, and people were like, "Oh," because there was a lot of skepticism that Naughty Dog could do something like that. They're obviously a great studio, but that was a sea change for Naughty Dog to go from Crash and Jack to something like Uncharted and then The Last of Us. And remember too that Neil Druckmann had acknowledged he's producing another internal game. So we know there are at least 2 games internal, and that's not a huge surprise. So why wouldn't he produce he would be perfect to produce an Uncharted game. He helped write Uncharted and obviously directed and designed a lot of it. So anyway, we'll see what happens. The rumors right now are that there's going to be a state of play next week. And that's going to be third party. And then that's what the rumor is. I don't know. And then that Sony will go again with first party in June. I assume that's when we'll see Wolverine gameplay. And I would imagine uninterrupted gameplay and intergalactic gameplay. Because obviously that's what you want to show next with that game. Shut everyone up. It's the only choice, right? You got to show the game. So we have these 2 shows hopefully coming up, and maybe we'll get some clarity in there. I mean, I don't think it's beyond the possibility that we get a late generation salvo of games, not unlike what happened with both PS3 and PS4. And it's too bad that Naughty Dog wasted all that time on the nearly complete Last of Us Online game, because it interrupted their ability to get these games out even quicker. And so we might, with different use of resources, have this game already. But I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to be surprised. I'm sticking by this. I'm going down with the ship, which is a good metaphor for Uncharted. All right. This comes from Push Square. I thought this was interesting. This was discovered by people online, but people that have access, I guess, to various, little hidden things on the PSN, not unlike scraping for trophies and all the rest. You guys might remember, and I shout out to Push Square for reminding us of this, that there are all these symbols on the back end, like icons that you can find that are used. And so like the little leaf icon have you guys been noticing this appearing on games?
Yeah.
The Saint Slayer has the leaf next to it, actually. This means that it's like a power saver game. The theory behind this, by the way, and I don't know this from a developer's point of view, but I think Moore's Law has been saying this, is that like this is basically this is for the PS6 handheld, as I understand. Like to like and again, it's the reference I always use of the hotel not washing your sheets and saying it's to be green. It's the similar thing here where they're like, yeah, this is a power saver mode for the environment, and it's like, yeah, okay. So that icon still exists, and they have all these other icons like the information icon and so on and so forth. But there were these two icons that were never used, but they were in the library of icons in PlayStation's backend as relayed by Push Square. One of them said Crossbuy, which we had never seen deployed. And Crossbuy is a long time thing from PS3, Vita, PS4, all of the rest. But this was associated with a PS5/PC icon. And these icons are gone from the back end now. Dustin, maybe the rumors are true.
Yeah, well, it seemed like for a while there were rumors percolating there was going to be a PlayStation PC launcher. And that would make a lot of sense, where take a game like Marathon, where instead of buying it on Steam, you buy it from the PlayStation launcher or on your PlayStation, and then you have access to a copy there and on your PC. And PlayStation would love this because then they don't have to give a cut to Steam. But it never came out. And then over the last month or two, we've been talking about the behind the scenes PlayStation stepping away from PC. And now we have these removed. So my theory is that there at one point was a PlayStation launcher that was being designed for PC with the idea of cross-buy for, I don't know if it would be all first-party games, but at least the live service games that they are doing. And it seems like it's been scrapped in favor of the return to console. So interesting to see these go away. They didn't even get to really see any light of day. So
it's so fascinating, right? Like they're turning the ship and things now are incoherent for a little while, because a lot of people are saying too, like, well, what about the hardware? Like you made a monitor and like these headsets and stuff that are for PC. And it's like, yeah, we did. and the ship is now turning in a different direction. I wonder, Chris, before I kick it over to you, there's more to this. So we have the Bloomberg article, right, from a few weeks ago saying they're moving away from PC. Then we have the disappearance of the cross-buy and PC icons, which I agree with you, Dustin, were probably for a launcher for PC that was never going to come. That's never going to come to fruition. By the way, a lot of this seems to be guided by the fact that they're not making enough money on PC. So what probably happened behind the scenes is you have all sorts of different people with different opinions around the round table, as it were. And they made a few $100 million on the PC games, and there were people internally saying like, this is wildly insufficient. And so there was probably some sort of pull and tug and struggle. And they made this new decision and they've gone in this new direction, but it doesn't stop here. There's another article. Actually, I didn't put it in the, I'll put it here in the chat because I didn't put it in the article itself that we use, or the document we use, is that on the official website for first party, they also made a bunch of edits. Of course, they removed Bluepoint and all that kind of stuff. But Valkyrie, for instance, we bring up Valkyrie every once in a while. This is like a support studio. And it used to say, a well-respected studio for producing high-quality work on a range of platforms from console to PC. Now it reads, quote, providing top-tier co-development expertise to several PlayStation Studios' most iconic and award-winning franchises, including Astrobot Helldivers and God of War. XDev, which is the external development initiative that used to run out of Santa Monica in Japan as well, they now run out of Europe. It used to say, quote, collaborating with ambitious external studios across the globe. Now it says, quote, partnering with talented independent studios to publish exciting exclusive titles for PlayStation players worldwide, end quote. And Nix's, by the way, it still talks about PC because that's what they're there for. And I worry about Nix's kind of, but as I've said before, I don't worry too much about them because the multiplayer games are still going to come to PC. And so there's going to be a place for Nix's to help with that.
Yeah.
So Chris, what do you think here? I mean, I think all of this taken in the culmination seems to be that, and Jason Schreier's very reliable journalist. So you didn't really even need any of this to know that what he was saying was true, but this seems to be pretty much the death knell, the true death knell of the PC initiative.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. I don't know if there's really that much more to say about it. Like, I mean, it's the cross-buy icons, like all of this seems to, I mean, outside of them just outright saying it, you know, like they've kind of outright said it already. But yeah, it looks like they're stepping back. And I've said before that I just think they understand that it's not just about the small chunks of change that they're making on PC. I do think it is the idea that like there's not that much of a hunger for these new machines in comparison to previous generations. Even PS5 was, you know, it was teetering, you know, on the edge of like people were like, do I want it? Do I not? It was ultimately exciting enough. You know, the SSD was promising, you know, and that was materially important. Now we're in a place where like the economy is fucked. Your dollar doesn't go nearly as far as it used to. Consoles are going to be more expensive. Even this new PS6 that's going to be cheaper than whatever previous consoles that they made, like the PS5 or whatever, it's still going to be a chunk of change. You know, like this is not a cheap thing that you're asking somebody to buy, especially in the current economic climate. So I think they understand that there's some level of writing on the wall here where like we've kind of got to make more of a case for our machine now, more so now than we used to. Mm-hmm. They had the inertia from PS4. And they're going to have inertia from PS5 still as well. But I do think more and more people are probably going to look at PC as a realistic alternative now that prices are kind of skyrocketing towards that higher end place. I mean, even you think as like a parent, right? Like even as like a parent buying something for their kid, you think like, well, a computer's really useful. It's useful for school. It's useful for like the world is online now, so like you kind of have to have like some facet of a place on computer anyway. It's a different world than like when I was like a kid, where like you would never, you know, generally speaking, like it wasn't even a remote thought. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy my child a desktop computer. I just think the world is different now, and you got to make a case to buy your machine. And if your titles are eventually going to move to PC, that's a pretty big thing. Like I heard from people interpersonally who like weren't console people, who are PC people. A friend of mine, Derek, on the show, he's like he doesn't have a console, right? Mm-hmm. He just bought a PS5 because he wanted to get in before the price hike, and he wanted to play GTA.
Right.
And that's not coming to PC. So he's like, yeah, I guess I'm not paying $900 fucking dollars, but I guess I'll buy it now and, you know, invest, since it's not going to come to PC quickly enough. But like, I have to imagine a lot of people are in that position too, where they're like, yeah, well, why buy a console if I can just play it on PC for cheaper, or for if I'm just patient? You got to whittle that away if you're going to make a case for a machine that no one's really hungry for. And that's how you make it. Now, the big question for me is like, are there even going to be PS6 exclusive games at all?
Yeah, it's hard for me to conceptualize this.
Because I'm sure maybe one or two, right? Like you do kind of have to do that, I think. But also, like, I question, like, I wonder if you do, because like even PS4 is still operating. PS5 is like remarkably cross generation in comparison to previous console generations. So like I wonder if like the money that it would cost to make a true PS6 game would make sense limiting it to PS6, where the install base will obviously be significantly smaller than PS4 and PS5. It's a different world now.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you can't rely, right? If you can't rely on day one PS6 games that you can only get on PS6, the next best thing is, well, you got to be on PlayStation, at least. And you have to be in our ecosystem, at least. You can't be on PC and get our stuff. And so I think that's, I don't know, it's kind of like a messy way to put it all together, but that's kind of the big picture of like what I think is going on here.
I think you're absolutely right. It's very well said. The tension on the market from multiple perspectives is really interesting because I don't think we've ever been in a situation quite like this before where we haven't. The hardware obviously is getting more expensive. There's this latent last gen player base of tens of millions of people. Actually, it's not an interesting story, but Genshin Impact is no longer playable on PS4 as of this week. So like big games are starting to move on. I don't know if Sony's trying to influence this. And we had no problem bringing, for instance, Saint Slayer to PS4. That was a no-brainer.
It's not playable at all, or is it like? Are they stopping updates?
No, you have to move on to a different console apparently, or a different piece of hardware.
Interesting.
So, because as I understand with that game, I'm not really a Genshin person, obviously, but a MiHoYo person. But apparently, it's like holding back the entire game. Like that makes sense. These last gen versions, and I think that's why they want to move on. But to me, so I'm fascinated by like the increasing prices, the cross gen like stickiness of a console that is 13 years old now, and people are still playing on regularly. And at Lilymo, and I don't know how many developers feel like this. Like we would still put games on Vita and maybe even PS3, not for any other reason than we would want to if we were able to. So there would still be support in some tangential way for old platforms, if possible. So there's also that, but then the expense is growing, and it's like I said earlier, Chris, and I just feel this way. Like you're right. There has to be some sort of PS6 exclusive something, and yet I just can't conceptualize it because I don't know what people want anymore. It doesn't seem like I've been doing this for a long time. We've all been playing games for a long time. It's just there's no desire for a new console.
Yeah, if they're willing to make a PS5 Pro, right, where there's no exclusives for the PS5 Pro, there's just better performance, and they understand that they can rely on a portion of their audience to upgrade on the basis of performance alone. I wonder if that's maybe the approach, right? Where it's just like, well, we could just price this thing at a more boutique, point and make some money, get people on board for like whatever the next generation is, and then eventually do the same thing that we're doing now, where eventually we do get PS6 games. Maybe the importance of an exclusive isn't as necessary as it used to be, but we still need exclusives on our platform, on our in our ecosystem. That is important. I don't know. It is where I don't see a world where like there's $500 million video games that are then exclusive to a machine that has to hit such a crazy amount of saturation to even see a return on investment with a fraction of the audience buy-in. Like I think you need the wide pool of at least PS5 to justify the cost of development for something that's boutique or
I agree.
Luxury.
I agree, and I also say like in a more aggressive time with Horizon and God of War, they refuse to move. So why are they going to move now?
Right.
Like it makes even less sense. As annoying as that was, it was very annoying, but great for people with the old consoles, but annoying for those of us with the newer hardware. There's a lot in the air about all this. I'm going to be so interested to see how this all plays out, because I think the one thing we've realized from reliable leakers is that nothing's stopping this train. Like this thing's coming, and we'll see. I mean, again, I'll buy it. Of course, I'm going to buy it. I want the handheld, bad, but yeah, I don't think there's any real purpose for this. I want to see the price is going to be fascinating. The people's interest in it's going to be fascinating. Access is going to be fascinating. Where the global economy is going to be, how they're going to try to move this thing into new places and try to seize new markets like China, which we're going to talk about in a minute. We'll see. Anything left to say, Dustin, before we move on? Of course not.
Nope.
There's nothing left to say. We've said it all.
Not.
That's crazy.
Oh, no, I didn't mean I can see why that would come up as an insult.
No time at all. Like, do you have anything to say? Of course not. That's so fucking...
That was awesome. The follow-up to the sentence was, I was going to say, of course not. We've covered it all, is what I was trying to say. But
yeah. Right.
But it did sound mean, and I didn't mean it.
It came across as like, he never has anything to say.
Yeah, anything to say. Well. We stick with our friends at Push Square, who write the next story that we'll chronicle here. Hiroki Totoki, CEO of Sony, a little bit of an elusive young man. He's not really young, he's old. He gave a rare English language interview with Bloomberg which they transcribed, and they talked a lot about things that have nothing to do with games. But thanks to Push Square and some users on Twitter as well, we have the interesting information that Hiroki Totoki was talking about in regards to our industry. First of all, I say this over and over again. I mean, this is confirmation. The audience of Sacred Symbol should well know this by now, is that he talks about how much of the revenue of Sony, modern Sony, comes from entertainment. And it's now more than 60% of their money comes from entertainment. This is a major sea change for them. And he says the following, and I thought this was interesting in regards to this, because obviously Sony is known for their electronics, especially their boutique high quality electronics first. And he says, quote, "It's difficult to differentiate the products in the area of consumer electronics. And that environment invited new entrants into the industry, first from Korea, followed by China. China, as you understand, has an enormous domestic market. And so backed by that market, they export their products. The consumer electronics market needs massive scale, and the competition comes down to volume and price. Unfortunately, it's very hard to maintain that volume in Sony," end quote. So this is I think a decent explanation as to why they spun off Bravia to TCL and started a new company with them for their TVs, which will still be branded Sony. But why I've said over and over again that the disappearance of like the dynamic Sony electronics, like the weird shit we've seen for many years. If you follow obscure, so what is it obscure Sony? What? That's not right.
I'm trying to.
Why can't I remember? Maybe it is obscure Sony.
Oh, it's obsolete Sony.
Obsolete Sony. I'm like, that doesn't sound right enough. Obsolete Sony. And some of the other great history and historical minded social media and magazines that like our friend Sandy Bry does and all the rest. There's a lot of cool old shit, both in and outside of entertainment. But Sony was an electronics company, a very well-respected company. I think even when you guys were younger, certainly, and still people feel this way, like Sony electronics were like the pinnacle. I remember when my dad got like a whole Sony audio setup for like the home stereo, and we got a Sony TV, and that's what people wanted. But what he's basically saying here is that things are different. It's hard to compete, and Sony no longer has that economy of scale in most hardware that they once enjoyed, which I think is pretty interesting. Now, they link out in this story to a tweet from a user called Reforge Gaming. I feel like I've heard of this person before. I think this person might have tweeted to me a few times, but I don't know who he is. Or yeah, I think it's a But he says Hiroki Totoki on Gaming to Bloomberg. More than 60% of Sony revenue is entertainment. The largest portion of that is gaming. They want PlayStation to be, quote, the best place to play from the user's perspective and the best place to publish. So not a huge surprise. The reason I didn't want to get too much deeper into this interview is that he doesn't say very much. Sony is incredibly well media trained, especially these days. They only talk when they have something to gain from it. But I guess, Dustin, the thing we can focus on here is Sony has really truly become an entertainment company. And again, as we said, this has been going since the late 70s slowly. They were incredibly canny operators at a time when it wasn't obvious this was going to happen to them. The acquisition of CBS Music, the acquisition of Columbia Pictures and TriStar in the 80s. So they had a music catalog, they have a movie catalog and all of the presence, and then gaming is the last one to come, the third leg of the stool. And now Sony is no longer an electronics company. They are a secondary or tertiary electronics company with a powerful entertainment brand, and PlayStation's at the center of all of it. Very interesting stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I would imagine that it would be harder to be an electronics company now for a lot of reasons. As he mentions, new players from Korea and China as well for these things that they probably are also making things a lot cheaper as well. And Sony, I mean, they were known for having high quality stuff that you hopefully buy it for life. And I also think like consumer trends have changed away from that when it's like, dude, you can buy a $100 TV at Walmart. Dude, I couldn't believe the other day I walked into Sam's Club and I saw like 100-inch TV and it was under $1,000. I was like,
it's crazy.
Wow. I mean, I'm
100?
Sure oh no, under 1,000.
100
inch
inches? That's crazy.
It was close to 100. It might have been like in the 90s. I don't remember. It was insane. And I'm like, the picture quality on this thing is probably ass. But the novelty, like if I had a much bigger house where I was like, fuck it, I'll put a 100-inch TV. It doesn't need to be amazing. I'll do it. Why not? But
that's awesome.
But yeah, but like on the lower end too, like you can get a TV for $100, and I could see it being harder to compete when electronics now it's like you can get something that's good enough for much cheaper. So PlayStation's one of those things where it's like someone can't come along and build a cheaper, good enough PlayStation because of them owning the entire environment around it, that you have to get a PlayStation if you want to play PlayStation games. And so them dominating that and the content on it, of course. And there's also movies and TV and music, of course, as well.
This goes into why I feel so strongly about games as a service, is because for them is because they're becoming so much more mono-reliant on their own product that they're going to be left holding the bag at some point if they don't figure this out, just based on the trend lines. Chris, Sony Entertainment Company, not a huge surprise. We've been talking about this for years, but some new information here. Anything to say?
No, I mean, it makes sense to me. Like, this seems to be the direction, and I get it. I do lament a little bit that they're straying away from this, just because, like, I do have like nostalgia for Sony electronics. Like, I had I have a tape recorder. I have a Sony tape recorder right now that I use to just because I love the audio quality that you get out of it. It's like just something about it. But I take notes on it. And so, like, seeing that they're kind of stepping away from that in some way, and they're focusing more on, entertainment. I don't know if I feel like that negatively about it. I just kind of like, oh, it was nice while we had it. It was a fun thing to be a part of, but like it makes sense that it's going this way.
Yeah, it is sad. There is something interesting about it. It's a different time. I love the old Sony that made all those things and were a dynamo in that space. And yeah, like you said, Dustin, too, it's just not, they can't compete with these cheaper items, and people, there'll always be a high end market, but I just don't think you can make too much money there. And again, I just think Sony deserves a lot of credit for, they didn't stumble into this entertainment thing. They made those moves when it was much less obvious that they should be doing those things. In fact, if you go back and read about some of their acquisitions in the late 70s and into the 80s, like, people are like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, well, who's fucking smart now? I mean, this Sony might be on its deathbed without these entertainment items. And it's funny too about, again, just that CES 1991, the Nintendo, Sony, Philips kind of thing, and being left at the altar changed the entire trajectory of the company. Such an amazing butterfly effect, not only for the gaming industry, but for Sony itself, wherein that brand that they basically created to get something out of their investment with Nintendo ended up becoming the dominant part of the company. It's an incredible story. Yeah. All right. We won't stick on this too much. This comes from a Portuguese user on Twitter using a video, but it's obviously real. And we've heard more about this since, so it seems like it might be rolling out to other people, but there is a new PS5 interface that appears to be being tested. It's not radically different. You would have to really be on the PS5 a lot to notice the difference, but he has a video here, and it does show some of the interface differences with, you would basically have different access to games and PS Store and stuff on this top bar, and it looks a little tighter, I guess.
But, yeah. I don't know if I would have. I kind of I looked at this earlier and I was like, I don't know if I see it.
You used to have to go to it basically is I think separating out.
Yeah, no, it's
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's obvious now looking at the video. Like, oh yeah, there's like a top kind of bar above the icons.
And that bar, I think, it's always been there, but now the icons are different or whatever. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But I just wanted to share that because I'm sure people are going to be interested in it. And if it's in beta, I'm sure we'll see it roll out the next
I like that it's a video of him launching the PS4 version of Blair Witch.
Yeah, I thought that too. I'm like, why are you launching Blair Witch of all the games you can be launching? Strange. That's a blooper game, isn't it? Ironically.
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah. It was okay. I played a little bit of it.
I like the Blair Witch Project movie. I think that movie is fucking awesome. I've never played the game. It is something that I should try at some point. All right. Wanted to move on to this next story here. The great delisting continues, my friends. Delistedgames.com writes, Sony wipes more questionable publisher catalogs from the PlayStation Store. They write, quote, Sony has apparently targeted another handful of publishers following the sweeping delistings of titles from Nostra Games and CGI Lab just 2 weeks ago. First noted earlier this morning on the PSN Profiles forums, It looks like all titles from Go Game console publisher, VRC Forge Studios, and Welding Byte, previously operating as Random Spin Games, were removed from the PlayStation Store on April 2nd. The roster includes titles like Jesus Simulator, Card Shop Game Store, 6-7 Nights, Tune My Car, Cat Life Simulator, I Am Busy Digging a Hole, and dozens more. Similar to previous publisher strikes from the PlayStation Store, many of these games remain available on Steam and Nintendo Switch. I'm loving this, Dustin. Loving it. Now, what's the commonality between the games they listed there?
Slop.
Right, but based on real games.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it seemed like the first round was going after like true shovelware trophy games. This now seems to be going after games that are obviously designed to replicate the success of a Steam game and trick people into buying it. You know, so the Card Shop Game Store, I Am Busy Digging a Hole, Jesus Simulator. These are all bootleg versions of real games. So they're getting more serious.
Yeah. Yeah. At one point I was researching for a video that I don't know if I'll ever make, but I found there's a YouTuber that discovered that like really went in depth on some of these companies. And basically a lot of these shovelware slop AI games are like created by shell companies. And there's like a networking web that it's all down to like 2 companies that are releasing these. It's there's some kind of crazy network conspiracy with these. But I'm glad Sony's finally doing something about it. I mean, we've talked about this so many times on the show that's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, I'm emailing with them now because I'm trying to do an interview about Saros. And we're going to see if we can work that out either before or after the game comes out with someone from Housemarque. But I had written a postscript in the email to the PR people being like, keep it up. I'm like, people are loving this, you know, like this. They've deleted a couple thousand games. That's good. And yeah, it's like, it's great. Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
No, I love it. Keep doing it. Keep it up.
Keep it up.
This is summon sign now. Keep it up.
Keep it.
Wolf. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these. Wolf Simulator RPG Survival Animal Battle. Rolls off the tongue really nicely. It's Cop Police Escape. Racing Zone Clash. Beat them up. Street Fight Band Simulator.
So good. I love it.
God Christ almighty. Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy about it. I've been wanting them to do this forever. I just don't understand what the point of having a curated storefront is if you're not going to protect the sanctity of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you were just going to have all this shit anyway, you might as well just be as open as Steam is and just let random people, you know what I mean? Like I just it never really made sense to me because it was the one thing about consoles that I appreciated. Not the lack of variety or whatever, but like or the lack, I can't play this game on this, but like every time I went on the store, I knew that like it was at least at some bare minimum quality standard, and that's kind of gone from most console spaces now. And so to see them taking an actual step and that it's materially affecting the stores, like it's a good thing. Ultimately, I think they could use some work still. Not even necessarily. I've had this hang up. I don't even know if most people agree with me, but like I hate that under new releases it shows stuff that's not out yet. That's just like available for pre-order. I'm like, what do we? Because it's like 17 pages of like stuff that you can't buy. Yeah. There really should be a separate thing. That's a nitpick or whatever. But like this is a good start to kind of clearing up the clutter on the store.
I gotta say, I think it's more than. I think you're right on. It's more than a nitpick. It really matters. Like I'm telling you from personal experience, like that level of discoverability being buried by shit and people making assumptions that nothing you're going to see there is worthwhile. So you just search for what you're looking for, go to like promoted, paid for advertisements. Like Starfield is promoted right now on PSN, and so there'll be a big icon there, and you'll see it. That shit sucks. It stops there being the organic discovery that Xbox Live Arcade and the early PSN experienced. And that's why a lot of games on both of those platforms actually did extraordinarily well. There are very few games that sell as well as games used to back in the day on like the digital games, because there was more care taken to give the good games attention and to give them space. I love what's happening here. I'll reiterate what I said on the stream because most people didn't obviously see that and watch that. And it's worth saying here is that it seems like they're getting serious behind the scenes. I'd love to know more about the personnel behind what's going on here and like why changes are being made, because I was making fun of that game that I think we brought up last week, Gran Turismo.
Mm-hmm.
And
they changed the name of it, right?
Yeah, they changed the name, which is like, but I think I said on the show, right, Dustin, I was like, if I was the person in charge of, and I had all these people working underneath me that ingested all the games to PSN, because you have to work with all these liaisons, I know from personal experience, and someone ingested Gran Turismo, I would have been like, you're fired. Are you fucking out of your mind? Gran Turismo? You actually like typed that into a field. Do you know where you are? Like what our IP is? And you didn't say anything to anyone. You didn't go back to them and be like, you can't name your game Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Because it is so close to our trademark from the mid 90s that it's like little things like that. So it's even crazy. It's like all this garbage. It's what was being said. It's not just appearing.
Right.
People are putting it there. And that is embarrassing. It's fucking really embarrassing. And that no one had, it's like not your job to discern. Well, open your fucking eyes. You're doing yourself a disservice. And frankly, if these games are, the funny thing about this too, Chris, is a lot of these games exist for trophies. Everyone knows that in achievements. Why are people buying them on Switch? That's the thing I was thinking about when I was writing this yesterday. I'm like, so these games, they're still available on Switch. And I'm like, why are they like, who is buying them there? For what end? Yeah. To what end are you even buying any of this shit over there? Are you crazy?
I wonder how much money they make on that platform. Like, because I could be wrong about this, although I don't think I am. Nintendo is a weird space where like it's mostly first party that, you know, like people aren't really buying. I can't imagine that someone is buying like Sushi Flip on the Switch.
Right. That's the whole point. It's like, so what, like, and these games are 50 cents or $1. Everyone knows, wink and a nod, why they exist on Xbox and PlayStation and to a lesser degree Steam, I guess, because people care about achievements there too. But the Nintendo thing there is so weird to me. But I think the company that figures out that curation is key, I think will not only win the long-term fight, but will engender positivity from publishers and developers that are being washed out by bullshit games. And for people that don't know the difference between the games I'm talking about and the games I'm not, I don't think you're quite familiar enough with what's going on PSN. It's why I enjoyed that episode, Dustin. We haven't done it again, but we should, where we just went through the PSN and started looking at random games that are coming out. And it's like, it's a very eye-opening experience if you've never done it, about what you're dealing with out there on the PlayStation. It's an
eye-opening experience, especially if you remember doing it years and years ago, and it was like not even close to this bad.
Not at all. Because it took, it's what I don't want to get into the AI thing, but it's like, it's what I say about AI art, where it's like the effort is part of the skill, being able to do that, jumping through hoops that kept the places clean. It's the lesson Nintendo learned post Atari. And I don't want to like reduce it just to that, but like their whole thing was just like, oh no, like you can't publish too many games. We're going to limit you so much that you have to decide what you want to publish. And that's kind of a ballsy thing to do. And I don't know if you have to be that hardcore, but maybe you should be. It's like you have 5 games. That was the brilliance of the NES thing. Is like you have 5 slots every calendar year. Have fun, you know, and
I think you should still be that.
And I love that. And obviously companies like blatantly got around it. Ultra, the biggest one, of course. But yeah, there's something nice about that, being like, at least pretending you give a shit. It's the same thing of like the Nintendo seal of quality. That means really nothing. There were games with Nintendo seal of quality that some of the worst games you ever played in your life. But at least they were trying to like signal to the market that we give a shit, that you can have some sort of confidence that you're buying something good here. And so good for Sony. They're way late, but good for them. And I'm happy that they're doing this. Guys, I'm curious what you think of this. Over on the PlayStation blog, the official mouthpiece of PlayStation, they write, introducing the Playerbase, bringing PlayStation's biggest fans into blockbuster PlayStation Studios games. This is exactly what we all wanted. They write, starting today, fans can apply for an opportunity to step into Gran Turismo 7, with additional games to be announced in the future. They write, we're introducing the Playerbase, a unique opportunity for PlayStation's biggest fans to step into some of the biggest game worlds by having their likeness scanned and appear within a PlayStation game. The Playerbase will start with Gran Turismo 7 and will be looking to expand and include fans in additional PlayStation Studio titles in the future. The community program will be available in select markets in the Americas, Europe, Asia, South Africa, and Australia. For more details, including the official rules, and to submit an application for the Playerbase, you can visit PlayStation.com/the-Playerbase. PlayStation.com/the-Playerbase. And it's available now. You'll be asked to answer a few questions about your experience with PlayStation. You will also be required to sign in with your PSN ID, possibly because they obviously want to connect you to that, and they probably can see if you're really hardcore enough. Do you really belong in Gran Turismo 7? After reviewing applications, they write, we'll select a limited number of finalists to participate in video interviews to learn about them and their connection to PlayStation. From there, one PlayStation fan will be selected to be featured in Gran Turismo 7 as part of the Playerbase, where they will have a special limited time appearance as an in-game character portrait, similar to how characters are presented throughout the game. The selected fan will also help design a custom fantasy logo and a one-of-a-kind vehicle livery, which will be added permanently to the showcase menu. They will be invited to a visual art studio in Los Angeles for a scanning day and to collaborate with a designer to create their fantasy logo and vehicle livery. And they will have more information about the other games in the future. I don't know. It's fine. That's cool. I mean, if that's what you're into, I just, this level of marketing is not necessary, I don't think, when you have so many other problems, but here it is nonetheless. Dustin, what do you think?
I think they should just select us to be in Gran Turismo, and you have to race against the 3 of our Ghost players.
Yeah.
And people like the hardcore Gran Turismo players, they don't know who we are. And they're like, why the fuck? This guy keeps ramming into the side.
I'm just going to ride the wall all the way around.
Yeah, right.
Like I usually do in Gran Turismo.
This is it's a fun, cute idea, but I agree with you, Colin, that I think that your time and effort and money for marketing could probably be better spent elsewhere. Because I mean, this is really cool for the few people that win, right? But are you really interested in seeing some random guy in Gran Turismo for his special event?
I don't want to be such a hater. Like, it's a cool idea, but I agree with you. It's like, how does this move the needle? Like, this is like something you come up with in a boardroom. You get, several $1 million to pursue this idea. And I don't think Sony really quite understands what time it is with their own fan base at this point. I don't think they get it. There's a disconnect between what people expect and what they're getting. And this is neat. But yeah, well, let me read this inquiry from Silence Do Good, the pen name, of course, of Benjamin Franklin. Howdy, Sacred Trio, writing in from the Artemis 2, which is an Xbox, to ask your thoughts on the new PlayStation initiative, the Playerbase, which is an opportunity for PlayStation fans to be scanned in as an NPC in a game after applying and going through an interview process. It's being rolled out first for GT7, with the winner being flown out to the visual arts studio for the 3D scanning process. The funny thing about that, by the way, is they don't even meet anyone from Polyphony. You literally go to the visual arts studio in LA, totally unassociated. They and then all that data is going to be delivered to some fucking chump at Polyphony to ingest into the game. If they continue to roll out this opportunity for future games, what game would each of you like to be an NPC in? Dustin would fit right in with the post-apocalyptic world of The Last of Us Part 3, for instance. Maybe as a purveyor of bigot sandwiches in Jackson, Wyoming. Chris, what game would you want to be in? First party game. Where do you belong?
I don't know, man. I do want to say I hate this idea. I think it's among the lamest things that are, because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, are they doing like a PlayStation Home thing? Like, that's interesting. Curious. And then I clicked it and it was this fucking weird shit. But I don't know what first party game would I be? What would I make sense in? I was going to say, like, it would be cool to be in Gran Turismo, but as somebody that you have to run over. Like, I'd be okay with that. Like, you got to run over Chris to get the platinum in Gran Turismo. I really don't know. Maybe I like Uncharted. You can shoot me in Uncharted.
That sounds good.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
I don't mind. I like the idea of being like in a game just to die in it. It's like,
what about Helldivers?
Oh, a Helldiver.
The 3 of us as Helldivers characters together.
Yeah, that could be fun. I don't know. I think I know whatever I'm in, I want to be like an enemy. I want to be like a mob, like an ad. I want to be like something that you got to clear out. I can have little lines,
dude.
Ow! Take that MP3, clip that MP3, use it in the game.
Yeah, there you go. You can have that for free.
Yeah, you can have that for free. Don't worry. I know my talents are highly sought after, but
In Marathon, Chris, you are one of the AI quest givers.
or
whatever, one of the companies. What are you asking people to do on Tal Ceti 4?
Collect glass Snapple bottles.
Yeah.
That would be
you have to take them to the box at the edge of the map, whatever that's called.
You have to take them to decon. And you gotta warp them into space. I want them full. And it'll be just it'll be a perfectly realistic Unreal Engine 3D render of me, completely unstylized like every single other character. Yeah, I don't mind that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I would be in. I do like the idea of being a villain. I think that would be funny. I
like Lenny Kravitz in First Light.
Lenny Kravitz. Yes. But I feel like the thing that I was reading some of the commentary about this, like on websites and even on the PlayStation blog itself, and some people being like, you should never let a corporation use your likeness without paying you and all these kinds of things. I'm like, you're not fucking Tom Cruise, dude. Like it's an opportunity for a fan of the game to get find themselves in the game. It's not a money making opportunity for you, and no one knows who you are or gives a shit. So there's no money for you to be made. I just think I like the don't work for free mantra. I generally agree with that, but I'm like, this is I think some people are misinterpreting what it is. It's like, yeah Sony's going to scan you. They're going to fly you to Visual Arts and scan you and pay you. It's like, okay.
Yeah. It's
a little silly.
So silly. It's not Palantir, guys. Fucking it's Gran Turismo.
It's like we got Fred Smith from, Youngstown, Ohio, works at the local CBD dispensary. And we invite, and he's a big Gran Turismo fan. And we're inviting him out. We're going to pay him $50,000 to be in our. It's like, shut up.
The thing that I don't like about this is this, I don't know why you would open yourself up to this at all. Because what happens when that guy's on a Chris Hansen show, right, or something? You know what I mean?
It's just like that old executive,
right? It's just I don't know. I think Subway learned a long time ago that it's better to just invent a character. You don't got to get a real guy.
Yeah, I don't really get it, but
whatever.
If people are, I'm sure that people are excited about it. If that's what you want to do, it'll be a cool opportunity to get motion captured, which is neat, or at least scanned. All right. Do you think they'll do the full body Kojima scan?
Yeah, we got to get your feet in there.
Yeah.
Oh God help that person.
Kojima's going to do something like this soon. He's going to scan you into Death Stranding.
I'd like to get Margaret Qualley in the studio and scan her feet for 10 hours.
Make sure she wears sandals.
Make sure she wears sandals.
Good shit. All right, a couple for us here, Dustin. And this one especially for you. I thought this was really interesting because when I first clicked on this article, we're using Push Square a lot today. I appreciate those guys as always. I was like, probably not. Because the article says rumor, Persona 1 and 2 re-release hinted at by new merchandise. I'm like, I'll be the judge of that. But I think I think they are teasing it. They write here, oh no, Atlas is doing that thing again where it gets everyone's hopes up with weirdly vague naming conventions. As you probably already know, 2026 marks the 30th anniversary of Persona as a series, with the developer Atlas having already teased a number of updates that'll be shared throughout the year. The hope is that one such update will feature the original Persona and Persona 2, or more specifically, the re-release and remastering of those two games. Basically, there's an official Persona 3 30th anniversary clothing range now available on Amazon, and multiple products are based on the first two Persona titles. Anything to do with the original Persona is called Persona 1 Origins, while anything related to Persona 2 is called Persona 2 Duality. Suspicions are on the rise because Atlas has never used either of these subtitles in the past. So the reasoning here is that Persona 1 Origins and Persona 2 Duality are the leaked names of the yet-to-be-announced remaster, remake, or even re-release, or even remake. Dustin, I gotta say, I think there's something to this. Now,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
It's the the duality and the origins thing that I think is the giveaway.
Right.
It's going to be very interesting. Particularly for Persona 2.
There's two of them, right? There's two versions of it.
I think so.
Well,
I honestly can't remember.
I think, let me tell you what I found out or whatever, and then you can tell me if this sounds about right. So Persona or Revelations : Persona is the first Persona game. That comes out in 1996. Actually, it comes out in 96 in Japan and the West, which is interesting. And then in 2000, Persona 2 Eternal Punishment comes out in Japan and in the West, a late PS1 release. But there was a Persona 2 only in Japan the year before, called Persona 2 Innocent Sin. Apparently, I don't know if it's kind of like what they ended up doing later and what they've been widely criticized for since, and why they think Metaphor didn't do very well is because they always do this like new version of the game, which is maybe a mistake. I don't know exactly what the story is between those two games, but when I was reading that, Dustin, I was like, oh, duality. There's two games, and it'll probably be both of them. And I don't know if one is like a 1.5 version or whatever. As I understand it, I think one is from a different perspective. If I'm getting that right, but people out there will know better than me. I didn't play them. And Revelations Persona, of course, Origins #1. I don't think there's any question that's. Well, I mean, of course, there's a question, but like, what? That's not nothing. And Atlas has never used that terminology, so I think that's exactly what you're getting, in my opinion.
Yeah. My question: I haven't played either one of these games, but I've watched videos about it. Hitler is a character in Persona 2. I'm just telling you straight up. Hitler is a character. They changed him. I don't know if it's just for the American release, or I think Persona 2 Innocent Sin came to the PSP.
Right.
They changed it from being Hitler to the Fuhrer, and they gave him sunglasses.
Sick. So they made him Hitler. Cooler, is what you're saying.
Yeah. They just changed him a little bit. And it's so funny. It's like, is this supposed to be not identifiable as Hitler? Because it's just Hitler with sunglasses. That's all they did was add sunglasses and change his name.
He's looks maxing.
I hope. I mean, if they're gonna do it, I would hope that it's not modified. Like, just do it like what HBO does or whatever. That's like, this is a, some people may find things in this offensive or whatever. Maybe you get a toggle on and off for the Hitler sunglasses or something like that.
Do you want an accurate Hitler or a stylized Hitler?
Stylized Hitler, yeah.
It's under the DLSS settings.
Yeah. I would love to check these out. I know that what people understand as the modern Persona really began with Persona 3, and these games are, while there's, core similarities to them, they are very different. I don't know if I would even like these games very much, but I would at least like to check them out for, historical context and a little bit of history with the Hitler stuff too. So,
yeah.
So it's funny, man. Like, I have no recollection of Revelations Persona being on the shelf of like a game store. Like I was like up those game stores' ass at 12 or 13 years old, It's funny. And then Persona 2, I remember PSM covered it. And I was like, I don't even know what this is or whatever. It didn't seem. But then I was looking at screenshots of Persona 3, which I own, but I've never played. And it looks just like Persona 4. So at some point they find like a new look that I think becomes more static or whatever. But it's so interesting. Do you know the story of why it took them so long to make Persona 3? I have to go look into that. Like, there's a 7-year gap, I think, between Persona 2 and Persona 3. Which is unheard of back then. I don't know if the games maybe just didn't sell well or something.
Were they not making other stuff in between or something?
I'm sure they were. Yeah. Right. I don't know. Well, Persona Team doesn't exist at that point though, right?
Right, because the first 3 Persona games, and even I guess 4 on its PS2 release, were labeled as Shin Megami Tensei Persona. So at that time, Persona was still a sub-series of SMT.
Right. Yeah, right. That's exactly right. Right. It's so interesting how Atlas has that with Shin Megami Tensei, and then of course Neon Falcom has that with Dragon Slayer, which begets Xanadu, which begets Legend of Heroes, which begets Trails. So it's kind of cool. I think that if you have time to like be a full-time Trails player, for instance, for the rest of your life, it's pretty cool that there's all of those options that all feed into each other. I don't dislike that. Yeah. It's just a lot to ask is all. It's extraordinary amount to ask of a person, but they're out there. And then, they would have East going at the same time. Anyway, Chris, I won't even ask you about this, and I won't ask you about this next one either, but I did want to throw this out there.
Right.
Just that the tail, and it's not, this comes from Automaton Media, automaton-media.com, which we cite every once in a while. It's a website that has a lot of English language Japanese coverage, which is really good. And they're just relaying word that Tales, it's the 30th anniversary of Tales, and Bandai Namco basically has nothing for it. And they announced basically like new artwork. That's like literally what they announced was like new art done for like all the different games to like show different scenes from the game. I don't know, man. I don't have much to say about this other than that I don't know what they're doing with Tales. It's actually incredibly frustrating. There has been a single Tales game in the last 10 years. You have to understand that if you're a Tales fan, and I've been a Tales fan since the PS1, that's completely out of control. The series was virtually annualized until the end of the PS3 era. And then they have released, a couple in the PS4 era, really right on top of each other with Zestiria and Berseria. And then Arise in 21 and nothing else. There were 16 Tales games between 1995 and 2016. 16. And there has been one Tales game from 2016 to 2026. So I always say I'm a noticer. And something's going on with Tales. So I don't know what they should have never broke. I don't know how much you care about this, Dustin, but they broke down the whole. It's actually the antithesis of what Atlas did, where they kind of made Peace Studio and then they like focused them on this one thing. You might remember that Tales was made by a team called Wolf Team at first. And then it was made by the Tales of Studio, which was run by Hideo Baba. And those guys were, I understand the expectations were different. And a lot of the stuff wasn't like the most beloved role, like they're not Final Fantasy or something like that, or Dragon Quest. But they had a nice little cadence going on and people liked those games. I'm one of them. And they just stopped. And I wonder if it's like they just kind of mismanaged, like they shouldn't have gotten rid of that team and ingested it, or I've been using that word a lot today. Took it in-house or whatever. I don't know. It's just frustrating. Just wanted to throw that out there. I know you're not much of a Tales guy, but I am. It's my probably greatest connection to anime weeb culture, actually.
True.
Like my most singular connection to it. You should have seen some of the posters I had of the Tales games back in the day. I used to get them from like obscure comic conventions.
Yeah.
Fucking nerdiest shit you've ever seen in your life. I'm the only person in all of the United States that had a Tales of Destiny poster on his wall. I'll tell you right now. We want Tales back. Help us. Not Tales not Tales from Sonic.
Miles per hour.
Tales miles per hour. Did we talk about how that tweet was going around about how someone saw Mario Galaxy movie, which I saw, by the way. And they were like, Star Fox appears and someone had screamed out, "It's Tails."
Oh, no. It's Tails. That's awesome.
By the way, just a quick note on the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Why do they spoil so much of it?
I don't know. I wondered the same thing.
Like the whole wart scene is awesome. And with Mauser and Fry Guy and all those guys. And it's like, why did you tease this? And the Star Fox thing. Yeah. It's like, why did you? And Mike have made a good point. It's true. It's like, this is going to be spoiled immediately. But I'm like, there are big things. You can't operate in that world where it's like, well, this shouldn't be cool because it's going to be spoiled. It's like, well, it should still be cool for those that are willing to experience it that way.
Yeah.
I was so confused by that because when they find, the R-Wing and stuff, and it's like, that would have been crazy. That would have been like a huge pop moment for people, I think. But everyone knew. Mm-hmm. You were waiting to encounter Star Fox instead of being like, wait, what? Like, that's crazy. And Wart is obviously an obscure character. I was making fun of, and I think we talked about it on the stream about how people thought it was like King Cruel or whatever, King Cool, whatever the fuck the Donkey Kong.
King K. Rool.
K. Rool, yeah. And I was like, that's embarrassing, but that's fine. That's okay. But it would have been cool to just be like, are you serious that's fucking Wart and Mauser? Like that is so, and they did such a nice job with them. Truly. I'm like, what a bummer, but I knew they were there. There was really no surprise in the movie, in my opinion. I don't know why they did that. Anyway, Nintendo porn for those that are interested in watching it, though. That's all it is. Yeah. It's nonsense. It's complete nonsense. The first one was nonsense too, but not in a bad way. It's fine. They're fine. They're fine. I don't know that I could have made a better Mario movie. I don't know that you could really make a Mario movie any better than this.
No, I don't. That's kind of the thing, is that like you can't really like what are you gonna do realistically? Are you gonna have like a real thespian as Mario? You're gonna have
I love the word.
I can't imagine
so much.
Yeah, but I do. Alan Rickman is Mario. Like, I just like you're not there for that.
Luigi.
Bowser, our newest celebrity.
Wahoo! It's me. Garbage.
It was. I will say this: incredibly high quality animation, like unreal. But they spend a lot of money on them, and they make a lot of money. So good for them.
Yeah, it better be fucking good.
The tease at the end, I thought was a little anticlimactic. The secret scene at the end.
The tease Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I won't say. I don't want to spoil it for people, but it's. I was like, that's fine. That's cool. Could have been anything really. This is kind of a weird thing to choose, but okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All right, a couple more things, then we can get into what we're playing. There's going to be a new DualSense controller for an upcoming game that you can begin the pre-order on April 17th. The controller, it's for 007 First Light. This limited edition DualSense wireless controller will cost $85 or your local equivalent. So pretty steep, but that's what controllers cost now. It's great.
Jesus Christ.
Are there third-party DualSense controllers? I was thinking about that the other day.
There must be, right?
I think there are,
because they're becoming so much more sophisticated. It's not like remaking. It's not like making a custom fucking or a third-party SNES controller. It's a much more complicated thing. You know.
Yeah, but you have to imagine that even. I mean, the PS5 technology is how old? You know, it must be fairly trivial for people who know what they're doing now to at least like emulate it on some level.
I think there are third-party, but specifically for the high end, like Razer.
Oh, like nice
has
ones.
A PS5 controller that is $219.
Why wouldn't you just get the Edge at that point? It's funny because I've always been a first-party peripheral person. Like I've not had good experiences with third-party things. I had a third-party memory card on PS1 that failed. Like after that failure of that memory card, I never bought another third-party anything ever. I know these things are expensive, but I don't know why you wouldn't just buy a PlayStation controller.
Oh,
if given the
I see it. I see what I see what this is. Oh no, it isn't. Because I was gonna say like I wouldn't not buy a third party controller for PS5 if it was if it had like an offset stick layout. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, true.
Something like that.
Does the Edge allow you to do that? Can you like move the D-pad and stuff? See, that would be kind of cool if you could switch the D-pad and the left stick.
There is a controller that does that.
Yeah, the Nacon controller I'm looking at does it.
I don't know what it's called. I just know I've seen one that has modules that lets you flip it.
Anyway, back to the 007. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was gonna say that would be cool. I would buy something like that, like an offset stick PlayStation controller.
I don't think I could. I mean, I could obviously play with offset sticks. I do on the occasion that I play on Xbox, but it is weird to me. Like, it's just about what you're used to, I think. And Xbox 360, I think, indoctrinated a lot of people into, not indoctrinated. I mean, it's a legitimate way to play. And I want to see Sony said. I mean, they told me when I was at Japan Studio once, like there are DualShock 4 prototypes with offset sticks, and I would love to see that. Like, see what that looks like. What they should really release is the Boomerang controller as like a novel. Like,
that would be
pretty dope.
That would be really cool because they've been doing that with the Xbox controllers. Like I use like a 360 like PC controller.
Yeah.
This isn't like the original. Like it's like some remake thing.
I love the button colors. That's so iconic. You know.
Yeah, I miss colors, man. I miss colors on the buttons.
Yeah, they muted all of it over time. Even we talked about the white and black buttons on the original Xbox. Like, I thought those were cool.
Yeah.
Like, I would just rub them, like sometimes because I like the texture of them. It's a little sexual. A little graphic. Oh, hickory dickory dock. Oh. All right. So the 007 First Light controller comes out May 27th. You can pre-order on PlayStation Direct April 17th. It's $85 or your local equivalent. I don't love 007 enough, anywhere near enough at all, actually, to buy this controller. I know you want to brand it. I think it would have been cooler without the 007 logo. But then I don't know what would have been 007 about it necessarily. So, any interest in this for you guys?
No, I think it's ugly. Get out of here. Also, I don't really like gold stuff that much.
Gold.
So
Gold, for whatever, gold reminds me of Pokemon Gold, so I get like a weird bit of dopamine when I see gold peripherals because it reminds me of it reminds me of that, like the cartridge.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really. I actually don't think it's gold enough. I kind of think the black buttons are a lot. Like it would have been cool if they went more gold with it, or like gold sticks or something. But like, whatever. It's fine. Again, like I'm like you guys, where I'm just like I'm not that big of a 007. Like this is really like this game is probably like the deepest into 007 I'm probably going to get. Really?
Yeah, it'll be the deepest I've gotten into it since GoldenEye. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I barely even remember what the story of GoldenEye was. Like that was like a was a PvP game.
Yeah,
for us.
There is a campaign, but I don't remember what it's about. It was quite nostalgic because they were showing that guy that everyone makes fun of that doesn't know how to play video games very well, but he's a streamer.
DSP?
DSP, right. And which actually Barry, did you see Barry put DSP into Saint Slayer as a code, which I think is so funny.
What? No.
It starts you with 99 lives.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I saw him playing GoldenEye, and he famously died against the first enemy in GoldenEye recently, and I saw that video, and it was very nostalgic. I was like, I remember I loved this game. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how you died on the first enemy. My theory, to his credit, is I don't think he knows how to use an N64 controller. I think I don't think he was holding it like this. I think he was holding it like this. Was he
playing it on original hardware?
I assumed. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Because that was like my benefit of the doubt thing. Because he couldn't shoot the gun, and I'm like, because you're not holding the center of the controller, you're holding the edge. You don't have access to the Z button, so you can't shoot.
The gun won't shoot. There's bug, but the game's bugged. It's a bugged mechanic.
I saw Lockmort playing that game Samson last night, and he put out that video of him just quit, like not even rage quitting, but just being like, all right, I'm done. And just like Samson? And quitting out. Yeah, it's by the studio Liquid Swords that split off from Avalanche.
What the fuck?
They're like the Just Cause team, or some of the Just Cause guys. It's like it's supposed to be some sort of like GTA like game that focuses on like the chase, I think, specifically.
Oh, okay.
And it's supposed
GTA
to be yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say GTA likes are doing really well right now,
but it's supposed to be pretty busted up and not ready for prime time. Like many games released these days.
Many such cases.
Many.
Mind's Eye such cases.
Yeah, exactly.
What a bummer.
Everyone's trying to out Mind's Eye each other, which is distressing. The final story of the week, my friends, is also from the PlayStation blog. Top downloads from PlayStation Store for March 2026. I don't think there's any huge surprises here, except for one, which is that the top PS5 game in the US and Canada for the month was not Crimson Desert, but MLB The Show 26.
Oh.
America's game holding in strong, but Crimson Desert was the biggest game in Europe. Resident Evil Requiem holding in at 3. Marathon at 6. Now, I don't know. PlayStation is much less transparent than Circana about the counting of if this is based on revenue or downloads. If it's revenue, that's quite impressive. If it's downloads, it's still good. But it is what we were saying about God of War Sons of Sparta being on Circana that month, where it's like, that's a $30 game. That's crazy. Good for them. And above Arc Raiders, which is at number 7. So at least doing better on PlayStation. And by the way, I feel like everyone's focused on the Steam charts. I know. And we have some data, I think maybe from Alinea and others, saying like that the console fan base isn't as big as you would think, or not as big as the PC fan base, but something must be keeping this game going. And I wonder if the stickiness is more prominent over time on console. I don't know. I have no theory on that.
Yeah. I don't know. I will say anecdotally, I've noticed more of my friends get on as time, like who weren't initially, like they didn't play the server slam or anything. They didn't know anything about it. I've seen like many people jump on over the last like week. I think out of curiosity, maybe they saw the reviews or whatever, and they were like, oh. Anecdotally, I will say like I'm running into a lot of people in games with purchased skins.
Oh yeah, you've been saying that. So people are spending money,
which again is crazy to me. Like, I mean, like I have a couple just because I like this game a lot. Like I've put in like 200 hours. Like it's fine. But that to me is interesting. Like if they can get like better. It's so funny because it's like it's one of those games where it's just like people have been asking for a game like that, right? Where it's just like, oh, it's not really, the skins aren't really the point. It's not about nickel and diming you for skins, and it's just like now people want better skins. It's like,
right.
I don't know. I don't really understand what people want.
I don't either.
But people are paying, so like I'm curious. I'm also curious about daily active users, because I have been playing less also, just because like time, and like I wonder if like daily active users are like relatively the same. I'm sure it's down a little bit, but like I wonder if it's like as down as the time and like the Steam player charts.
I'm still convinced that the game's not going away. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know, man. It just seemed. There's a.
We'll see.
It is the epitome, Chris, of opportunity or not opportunity cost of not diminishing returns. All these different terms we use. It is not the epitome of either of those things. It's the epitome of sunk cost. It's like,
sure.
Remember they already wrote down a part of the Bungie acquisition on their financials,
right?
So they can write the rest of it down. They would have to shut the studio down. I just feel like I don't know. I like my analogy of the beachhead. In this very competitive, crazy market, you have a game that's not being played by nearly as many people as you want it to, but people really like it. That's not common. Games that people don't like don't get played. It's uncommon to have a game that is very well received critically and has a hardcore fan base with a dwindling number of people playing it. It's an unusual situation to be in. I think you should try. And by the way, they can still flip the free-to-play switch at any time. I don't know if that's something they want to do or will do, but that's an option. I think Marathon's good enough and big enough where that's what you would do first. And so even then, it's like I'm not worried about it.
If they have like a proper, because again, the skins are very secondary and you can feel that, which I think is good. It means it's a game designed first kind of game instead of like a spend money kind of game. But if they really wanted to overhaul and like get some cool skins in there, stuff that like demands attention, I could see that working fairly well if they did free to play, because it is just a fucking good loop. I don't know. We'll see.
If it means putting Darth Vader as a skin in Marathon to make it survive.
Yeah, I don't want that.
They're not. No, I don't think they're going to do it.
I don't want that either. But if it means that it would save the game,
I just mean that's tricky.
It won't save the game though.
I think it won't. I think a big. I mean, Destiny the Star Wars thing with Destiny is kind of killing it right now.
That was like a fart in the wind, dude. That thing I don't even.
Yeah, I played the first mission of it. I was like, yeah, it's good. I mean, it plays well. Like, I mean, the game underneath it is great, so that's not surprising. But like, this kind of detracts from something. I think the visual style of Marathon is is part of the secret sauce that makes it so cool. But I do think they could stand to have the skins be a little bit more distinct. They could stand to have a little bit more oomph put into them. I think they were scared to do that because they know the criticism that Destiny gets, where like, oh, all the coolest skins are behind, or all the coolest armor sets or the armor ornaments are behind paywalls. And it's like, well, yeah, okay, we won't do that now. Now we'll give you kind of base skins, which is just colors. And it's like, no, we want more. We want to buy more cool things. And it's like, what do you want?
Dude,
it's a rock and a hard place. I think they should just like put cool stuff in. Like, who cares?
Everything I hear about current Destiny fans sounds absolutely insufferable. Sorry.
They're annoying. Yeah, they're annoying. It's annoying. Like, we got... I say that as somebody who is still technically a Destiny fan. I just like, they ended the game, brother.
That's the thing.
They had a fucking narrative conclusion. That's more than you're going to get out of any live service game. Like, they want to perpetually keep these things alive. It's business smart to do that. But like, it's artistically really like cool that they did that. They gave you a narrative conclusion to something that should be technically on paper kept alive for as long as possible. They should have, from a money perspective, kept you stringing along for like years and years. But they gave you like a really great finale, I thought. That was really that they landed that plane. I don't know what more you want out of it. Like, I get that it's a good game and you want to keep playing it and you want new things to keep you coming back. But like, for me, that was it. I was like, okay, cool, I'm done. If Destiny 3 happens, like, I'm down to check it out. If it's like a new complete reset and, a nice brand new jumping off point where like parts of the game aren't going to be taken out and inaccessible. Hopefully you learn from that, because that is the worst thing about Destiny. It is that content vault. But I just don't understand the desire to keep, like, brother, the story's been over for like 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't get it. But whatever. Teach their own.
Let's see. Is there anything else in here interesting? John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is at 14. That game seems to be doing okay.
I'm curious about it because it's a lot of people are saying it's very. A lot of people say this about a lot of games that come out, but I kind of more believe it with this, where it's like it's kind of hitting a Left 4 Dead vibe for people that I've heard, which is interesting. I am curious.
Maybe 4 Loop will hit that for people.
Oh God,
when that comes out.
I've got a bad feeling about that game, man.
Well, I know that
I don't want to have that bad feeling. By the way, people always accuse me of being like cynical and liking it, but like I swear to God, I don't. I just don't know about that game.
Well, I have a bad feeling about it specifically because, no one seems to like it. So it just seems like one of those games where it's like you got an uphill battle, man. Because I'm surprised by how disinterested and even hostile people are about 4 Loop. So yeah, that game's got an uphill battle, no doubt. Let's see, Ghost of Yote holding on at 16. It looks like Reanimal 17, Ready or Not at 19, Monster Hunter Stories 3 at 20. That just came out, didn't it? So it didn't
right around.
Yeah, something like this recent, right?
It's not very good.
Yeah, something came out around it. It might have been around when Marathon came out because I remember talking to Jimmy about it, and it was when Crimson Desert came out because he's like, dude, I'm playing Monster Hunter Stories instead.
There is something to note, Dustin, on free to play. Number 1 game, 7 Deadly Sins Origin.
You know how much I love 7 Deadly Sins.
You're a huge fan.
So that's why I hid my trophies.
You didn't want anyone to know.
I didn't want people to know I already have the platinum. So.
It knocked Fortnite at 2 and Roblox at 3, but everything else is pretty much as you would expect it here. Fall Guys creeping back in at number 9. Marvel Rivals at 8, Apex at 7. So nothing too crazy here, but that's all we have for the news this week. All right, my friends, let's get into what we're playing this week. Let's see. Dustin, let's start with you. You're hanging with us. What was it? What was that one game we were making from IDOS?
Oh, Swagman.
Right.
Swagman, yeah. So I've mostly been playing Marathon, which I know the audience has heard us talk about endlessly, so I will not talk about that. But something else that I thought would be interesting and relevant to you guys as PlayStation fans is I got this in the mail. It is the SuperStation 1. It's from a company called Retro Remake. And what this is a FPGA console. It's inside. It's a Mr. FPGA, if you've heard of that, but it's been packaged up nicely. It has analog ports on it. It's got HDMI, of course, S-Video, stuff like that. And it's a little FPGA PlayStation console. FPGA, for those who don't know what that is, basically when you emulate a game on like your PC or Steam Deck or something like that, it's using software emulation. So it's using a software environment to emulate the hardware. An FPGA actually emulates the chip from whatever device or core that you're using. So it's super accurate emulation. It's basically the same as playing something on a PlayStation. And this thing is freaking awesome. I love this thing. It takes a little bit of figuring it out. Like, this isn't a plug and play device like a Super Nintendo Classic or something like that. You're still going to have to figure out a little bit on how it works. There's a lot of guides because it is a Mr. FPGA. So what I've been doing is just checking out like all the different games it can run. I talked about, Swagman earlier. And people say like, oh, Dustin, you just went and downloaded the ROM for that. Bitch, I got the CD drive out and I actually ripped my games to put it on the system, which was kind of cool. And there is a disk drive coming out for it. It's not quite done yet, but I think it's going to be here in a few weeks. And so from then, you'll actually just be able to play your actual PS1 games on it. It also can basically do anything up to PlayStation 1. So it can do Super Nintendo, it can do Nintendo 64, it can do Sega Genesis, Sega CD, TurboGrafx, basically anything, arcade, PC, early PC stuff, all of it runs on this. And that's why I wanted is that it's like this is now my go-to all-in-one retro device. And what I really appreciate is that maybe you've seen videos before online about like, here's how crazy you can make this PS1 game look by you upscale it to 4K and do a texture replacement pack and do all this stuff. I think that's cool. It's not really that appealing to me overall because I like the way those things looked in that era. And so what this does, it's like kind of a happy medium where you are able to, it's not an up-res, but upscale things to look much nicer on your 4K TV or whatever. You can add scan lines, and there's even filters for CRTs that actually look excellent on it. And yeah, I am absolutely loving this thing. Like I said, not necessarily plug and play. You will need to, if you don't have the disk drive or a way to rip, you will need to source your own ROMs in whatever way you deem best. But it's really cool. I really like it. So I think I got this for an early adopter price of $150, but I think it's now $200, which seems like a fair price for all the things they can do.
Yeah. Dude, I love that retro gray, man. That gray.
Yeah, man. I
love it.
They had multiple colors. I don't know if they're still available. They had like a clear blue and a black as well. But to my understanding, the dock was gray. So I'm like, dude, I want it to match when the dock comes out to be the same. And it just, it's clean, the gray. So for the retro enthusiasts out there, take a look. The SuperStation 1.
Cool, man. Can't do it, man.
Can't do it.
I guess I'll go next, and then we can, Chris and I can come together on Starfield here. Proud Dad Simulator wrote into us and said, hey guys, I also jumped back into Returnal to prepare for Saros, but I deleted my save and started from the beginning. After 70 hours, I never beat it last time, had a late run heartbreak that I never recovered from. Well, I just beat it using the Globber. I had a large health pack and kept my astronaut. The astronaut, of course, revives you. Could have killed him 3 times. I was ready for another fight. This time it took me only 23 hours, probably my favorite true PS5 game. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you for the Globber pro tip. The Globber is the king of weapons in the game. I want to do I know I've played now Returnal for 140 hours. It actually entered, when you go into your profile, we were talking about this recently, you go into your profile and then it shows the 3 games you've played the most. And mine are The Witcher 3, which is nonsense, but that's what it says. And then it says something else, and then there were like Far Cry 4 was on there, and Returnal is now bumped in there, which is interesting. So it's a game I've definitely played a lot of. I platinumed it, so that's Platinum 205, and I got 100% of the trophies on the Tower of Sisyphus as well. What a game, dude! We all know this from when it came out. Everyone has their own story with it, their own little adventure with it. And I know exactly what you're saying, Proud Dad Simulator, when you just have your crestfallen after you're having this amazing run. Because you have to dedicate rather so much time into it. And that's what they were saying about Saros runs being shorter. I don't know that I necessarily want that. I like the high stakes personally. Kind of like the high stakes of your stream the other day, Chris.
What?
When I tweeted at you and you were like, everyone's going to die. A whole generation will die.
Oh.
And I was like, unreal stakes.
Right. I forgot I said that. I usually delete those when I'm done, but I like that tweet so much.
Yeah, it's good. So if you haven't played Returnal yet, you still have time. I mean, you can play whenever you want. You can play it after Saros comes out, but you have time to prepare for Saros by getting into it if you want. I really, really enjoyed the process. I didn't delete my save. I think I talked on the stream, right, Chris, or Dustin, how I was like considering deleting my save because I was so lost on what I was supposed to be doing, but I just kind of collected myself and figured out exactly what I was missing. And that was obviously the right move because it would have been quite the heavy lift from there if I did it otherwise. But so that's Platinum's away. I'm very, very proud of that Platinum because that's definitely a get good Platinum. And then Starfield. I bought Starfield. Dustin, I might have you make a light edit to introduce the world to Dennis Starfield. Oh my
God, dude.
The character.
Dennis Starfield.
Yeah. And I named him
fucking heinous. Like I forgot that you could make characters that ugly. Because usually with I know that you could do that with Oblivion, but Skyrim turned it down way hard to the point where like I just kind of didn't try after that. Every time I play Starfield, I just like go with like a default fit. Like I don't care. But like this is fucking rough, dude.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Chris, because when I was in the character creator at first, I didn't realize like it's like, oh, here's some head shapes, here are skin tones, here are eyebrows, and I'm like, oh, like I can't make anything. I was disappointed, and I actually started backing out. I'm like, I guess I'll just make a real character. And then Mike was like, wait, there's like a thing in the corner where you can like go over one, and then you can mess with all the different sliders. And I was like, oh, and then so I started just jacking up the sliders as one does, either all the way up or all the way down for all these different things. And this is what I came up with, which is people are saying that this looks like the dude that in the Biden administration that stole the luggage. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
There was
like an administration official who was bald.
Yeah.
He was like a guy, but he dressed like a woman.
People are saying. It's always people are saying.
People are saying, I know, yeah. They say, sir.
They say, sir, Dennis Starfield has joined the Department of War. What a guy. Or girl, or whatever the fuck.
Girl. We love him anyway. So yeah, that's my character. That's Dennis. So I've only played for 2 or 3 hours. I joined Constellation, basically, which is like part of the main quest in the beginning.
Mm.
It's a little boring. I mean, that's kind of my first take, but I've been reading and talking to people and they're like, you got to just stick with it until you get to Neon City, I guess they're saying. Like, just do the main quest. And then when you get to Neon City, then the game kind of opens up in a bigger way, or you have more options, and then you can kind of go fuck off. So I want to get to that point. I'm not putting it down but I must say I got it. I pre-ordered it. It came out Tuesday. I played it that night. And then I didn't feel like going back to it last night, which is not a great sign.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. I don't want to say I was overcome with the dread. It's kind of a little too dramatic, but as I was playing it, I'm like, yeah, damn. There is something not right about, like, people aren't crazy. There's something very like the game just kind of starts. It's kind of weird. You know, you have like these iconic, like Skyrim's opening is iconic.
Right.
You know, but in this, it's like, oh, you're a miner and you found something. And then like before you know it, you're like in a ship and someone gives you a ship and then like you're on. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. It's very quick. Combat's okay. Space combat's kind of cool. There's like a VAT system in space, which is neat.
Yeah.
But I don't, it's very early. Like, who gives a fuck? It's like with the people I make fun of when it's like you go on Steam and it's like 0.3 hours. It's like, who gives a shit what you have? Like, who gives a fuck what you have to say about this game right now? I'm kind of in a similar position, but I just from my own perspective, I don't find it very compelling, but I've barely seen any of it and I want to give it a chance. So that's where I am on it. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I jumped back into it just out of curiosity. I know there was like all these updates that they did. I got to be honest, I don't know what the fuck the updates did. I don't remember Starfield I don't remember the moment to moment. Like, I don't remember what's better now versus when I played it. I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's like maybe like minor quality of life changes. I don't recall them. I did the free lanes. There's like a free lanes update that like affects space, but like I couldn't figure out exactly.
I think you can go from like planet to planet now, right, or something. Like you don't have to fast travel. It's more like Star Wars Outlaws maybe or something. Sure,
but it's also kind of one of those things where it's just like I get why that's cool in theory, and I get why that's cool in No Man's Sky, but in a game like this that's so based on like being on the ground and combat and RPG and story, it's just like, even if I could fly to different planets in relative real time, I'm going to fast travel anyway. That's kind of the thing that like I didn't really get about the criticism immediately. Like, I get that there's a lot of loading screens and a lot of fast traveling, but like that's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of the point. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to sit in space for 6 hours in real time. You know, it's flying in one singular direction. I did 2 things when I booted up Starfield again. I started a new character just to remember what the beginning was like. And it does kind of quickly start. I think it's like a response to a lot of criticism of just like, man, everything starts so slow. And it's like, well, this game doesn't start slow. It kind of throws you into it with arguably no prep time and no like way to like there's no grounding time, which is technically good, but also for the game, for the type of game this is trying to be, arguably not the right way. I don't know. It's either choice would have probably been good or bad in some ways. But so I started the beginning. I did everything up until you land in the first like city. And then I was like, okay, I'm familiar with the mechanics again. And then I loaded up a previous save and was dicking around. Yeah, it's an understated game. It's a lot more muted than like something like Fallout, which is a little bit more, I don't want to say whimsical, but like, I don't know. There's like a high energy, like fantastical kind of thing going on. You could argue Elder Scrolls is pretty muted too, but there's precedent for that because a lot of fantasy is pretty muted. It's like there's White Walkers to the north. You know, everything's like very serious. So it's like it kind of lends itself. Starfield is very muted sci-fi. It's like very understated. There's not like grandiose alien stuff going on, at least not right away. You do end up in places after enough time and after enough exploration where like, what the fuck? This is actually kind of crazy that they put this nonsense in the game. There's one thing I'm curious if you'll ever get to it, Colin, that I know for a fact will tickle you quite a bit. I'll save it for like when you give up on it, and I'll spoil it.
Okay, fair enough.
Or if you make it through, like I don't know, because I didn't experience it personally. Like I actually heard, a friend of mine told me about it, and then I looked it up and I was like, I can't believe this is in the game. But it's weird. Like the main quest ends up in areas where I think you, as like somebody who appreciates like NASA and like contemporary space travel, like it does get to a place where it's just like, this is cool that I can be here and that I can see this and I can do these things in this location and it looks pretty good. You know, like it's not like a generational like graphical, you know, powerhouse. But sometimes the scenery does like, sometimes it hits well. And you get that in like the Soul system quite a bit because it's so familiar.
Right.
But it's slow. It's a slower game than most Bethesda games typically are. And it's less whimsical. It's less out there. It's dry. It's kind of British. Like, I don't know how else to describe it.
It does feel dry. That's a great way of putting it. Dry is a very good way of putting it. But again, it's so preliminary. Like I've barely seen anything. I don't want to judge it. I will say that some things I did like. I really like this. Just sitting at your spaces, your cockpit of your spaceship is pretty cool. All the different controls and buttons. And I like the whole system of like having a power differential where you have like shields and lasers and missiles and all these things. And you're just constantly on the fly dumping power and all the different things you think you need. I think it's kind of cool. Very sophisticated. When it was like, oh, you're going to learn how to dogfight. I guess I'm like, you dogfight? Like, I didn't even know that you did that kind of thing in the game. And at first I was like, ugh. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Because again, you have that VAT system and you like, and then you like zoom in and you could like just go after their engines or their guns or disable the ship and stuff. I'm like, this is kind of neat. It's got a quality of, this is a weird reference, but I really loved the Star Wars role-playing game, the paper and pencil role-playing game in the 90s. I used to play it with my friends. And in that game, you could be like anything, like a smuggler or starship pilot or whatever. And this kind of gave me that feel of like, oh yeah, like I'm just a dude. I'm like a smuggler or whatever. And I'm just dealing with other dudes. And you're kind of a guy in the universe. You're not really important. Right. There's something neat about that. Or your importance throughout the game is kind of happenstance. Like you stumble upon a certain something or whatever. So I like the whole idea and setup. I'm going to go back to it probably tonight and continue with it. But yeah, I was like, it's a little boring. Yeah, that was kind of actually when I was tired last night. Micah said to me, we ended up we're I said earlier we're rewatching The Handmaid's Tale. She's never seen it, and she's like, if you play Starfield, you're gonna fall asleep, and I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. So
yeah, it is.
So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But I will say there is no revision on this game. Like the scores on PlayStation are not good. I don't know if you guys have seen, like, they're not good.
No, I haven't.
Because a lot of people were like, oh, now that it's on PlayStation, everyone's going to say Starfield is a classic. And I'm like, I'm not seeing any evidence of that at all. People are not giving it good scores.
Starfield was never brilliant. You know, I think it's good. I think it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like the beginning is kind of like, I think I even told you this like a couple like episodes ago, where it's just like the beginning of it's kind of like, it is kind of whatever. But yeah, like the ship system, I really liked the ship combat in it, and I like the flipping between, like it kind of gives you the feeling of like flipping through like various like switches and stuff when you're fighting. My favorite thing about it is like disabling like a shield or like or like an engine or something, and then docking on the ship and then running in with a fucking knife and be like this. The fact that you can do that to just like any random enemy is really cool, because it kind of implies that like every enemy in space has their own like living space that you're kind of invading, like, and you could do whatever you want. Like I would go in there like with like a knife that like did like concussive damage. I would just like I'd be poking. There's like a stab animation too that's hysterically like nonchalant, that I think is like hilarious to be in like a game like this where it's like it reminds me of like a Pathways into Darkness like JPEG game kind of. But yeah, it's a charming game. I think it's reasonably good. I think like I remember it settling, or maybe it didn't settle in the 70s or like 75, but like I think that's where I would put it. Like it's entertaining, and there's parts of it like if you're a NASA guy that like really resonate, but the main quest is kind of like, I don't know. It's like most Bethesda games where like the main quest is never the smuggler faction or the smuggler storyline. I remember being like, this is fucking cool. Like this is pretty sick. But that happens late. You gotta play quite a bit. So
I'm definitely trying to, as I like to use persuasion. So it was very satisfying. I ran into these pirates and was able to persuade my way out of even fighting them at all and stuff. And
right.
I like that kind of shit. So like I'll get into the role-playing systems and all the rest. I also think the game, I'm not a hardcore Bethesda Game Studios fan, as people know, but I think Fallout 3's intro is so iconic that it's always going to be hard to, like you're in the vault and it's like your birthday and all this weird shit and you're growing up and taking tests and doing it's like super cool. And then you walk out of the vault and you're in this world, it's never going to be matched. And I think people's expectations, the hardest part is probably onboarding people to like what the game actually is. And they decided that they were like, oh, you're just like on a mine, you're in a mine somewhere, and then you find something and then you go to the planet.
Yeah, it's just it's a very flimsy setup, I think. But dude, I remember when Fallout 3 came out, I hated that intro because I was in 2008 was sophomore year probably. Yeah, right? 10th grade. So, like, I remember just being kind of like, why am I in school in this fucking video game? I'm out of school right now. Like, I don't want to be back in school. I'm playing this to escape. And I just remember being like, this isn't shooting things. I don't want to play this. Eventually, I ended up liking it, but I don't know.
Well,
it's weird.
Starfield. We'll have more to say about you, I'm sure.
Dennis Starfield.
Dennis Starfield will be reporting for duty very soon. The bounty hunter, Dennis Starfield. I love looking at his third person model as well, like in a spacesuit. He's got like his helmet on. He's fucking hideous. It's awesome.
Did he? Is his head clipping through the helmet because he made it so fucking bulbous?
Yeah, it is bulbous. Yeah, I jacked up the head, the chin. It's ridiculous. I will say, because I remember people making fun of that guy that did that video when Starfield came out. I was like, pronouns or whatever. It was like the British, you know what I'm talking about? The British. Yeah. I will say it is a little awkward. I don't care about it asking like if you want to be he or she or whatever. It's just like, they have, I think it's Dragon Quest style type 1, type 2. And like, it's like walk style type 1 or type 2. And one is a man and one is a woman. It's like, just say it.
Right.
Like, what is the big deal? I don't understand that. It's like, why are you making it such a big deal? It almost draws more attention to it as like a signal than just saying like male or female, male walking style, female walk, and give a third option if you want. Have an androgynous option. I don't even care about that, especially in a futuristic game where there probably will be a lot of that kind of weird shit.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think the androgyny comes from the mixing and matching of the types, right? Like, so you could be like a fat man and have the female walk cycle, and then it's and
right,
if you wanted to do that,
you know, like just say like it's a customizable game, so give yourself the female walk cycle. Like,
sure, I guess. I did that. Yeah, I don't know. It never, because I remember playing games a long ass time ago, and I remember when I was a kid seeing type 1 and type 2 in something. I can't remember what the fuck game it was. It definitely wasn't the common thing, but I remember seeing it's like, oh, I guess that's like something that some games do. So that whole argument never really like resonated with me. I was like, what is the it's a weird thing to scream. It's a weird thing to scream into a camera about. It's like, but like, it's like, yeah, it's weird. But it's like the first like It's like 0.01% of the game. And then
It's
it never comes up again.
it's certainly not. I actually think in some way, based on the game and the style of the game, that the Dragon Quest Type 1, Type 2 thing was actually more conspicuous and offensive, even, where it's like, what are you doing? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on. All right. That's all we have for what we're playing. Let's get into, by the way, we're going to talk about one of the games, but there's a lot of shit coming out. Mouse, PI for
Mouse
hire,
PI.
Pragmata, Saros. These are all games weeks away at most. Very exciting time. Foreskin Warrior wrote in.
Jesus.
Said, hello, gents. It feels like almost a daily occurrence where we remark upon the industry on a sort of collision course towards a world where our dollar is taking us significantly less far than it used to in terms of quality of games. Budgets for games in the West are ballooning, and it makes sense. Inflation is staggeringly high, and the wages in these high-cost areas of employment need to stay competitive with the significant high cost of living, et cetera, et cetera. To stick strictly to video games, it seems that this dollar to quality ratio worsening is impacting creative choices, live service pushes from executives, and a general feeling of playing it safe. I've been a listener of LSM since the beginning, and it's interesting to hear the tune of capitalism changing, and that this laissez-faire approach may no longer be viable. I understand everyone's ideologies are different, Colin more outspokenly capitalist, while others perhaps more critical, yet all of you seem to agree that guardrails are necessary. My question is, what sort of guardrails could help these, what I would consider intrinsic problems of capitalism in the video game industry? Isn't this just capitalism working as intended? Maximizing profit and shareholder value at the expense of all else? It's not business, it's personal. These are the core Western American values bludgeoned into our brains since childhood. What sorts of economic policies could foster creativity of studios, preserve economic prosperity and proper wages, while also having a free market of competition that drives quality up? Colin, I loved your quick ideas passed semi-often on a sort of trade-like unionization from creatives in the industry. I'll sit back and listen. I also like that idea. The problem is that it requires an internationalization of the industry that is simply not possible and might even be illegal, depending on what country you're in terms of like having these cartels that control the workforce across international boundaries or whatever. It's why like SAG-AFTRA has no power outside of the borders of the United States, and why, you know, people often do films overseas and all the rest to avoid them. So it would be easy enough to circumvent that. Here's what I was thinking about when I saw Foreskin Warrior's question and why I wanted to bring it up. I always found well, let me back up. Games are like they're not a necessity. They're a product of excess. And that's good. Books are a product of excess as well. Movies, like anything fun, right? Like when the division of labor allowed our cavemen brethren to split up tasks, and people discovered that someone was good at art and someone could be a shaman and all the rest, and you had all these things that were not important anymore. These things work outside of like the capitalist framework in the way that you said it's capitalism as it's designed, and that's true. But because these things aren't necessities, I don't think people take the financial and economic and labor realities around them very seriously. It's actually not quite unlike what happens in sports or movies, where these people make an enormous amount of money and we're all kind of like perplexed by it. We're happy for them. Cool. This guy got signed for $25 million to play this position on this team. Yet that is the representation of a part of the capitalist system that is doing really well for itself, that is detached and is in fact not necessary. I say all of this because I feel like video games have an economic problem that is therefore unfixable. There's always going to be this tension between profit and investment over and getting your money out of it and making a profit, which is good. But since you're not farming, or it's not oil or housing or medical care, I don't think you're going to make anyone give a shit. And in fact, I'm not entirely sure the budgets are really the problem, because I think the budgets are flattening a little bit, which is good, comparable to inflation. But rather what people are willing to pay for games and the buy-in on the enthusiast. The enthusiasm I saw when what was that new Switch game, Dustin, Tamagotchi Life or whatever?
Tamagotchi Life.
That's a Switch 1 game. And I saw the excitement on a Reddit of it being dumped and available to download, like before it even came out or whatever. And it's like, there are just so many weird economic tensions that I don't think the gaming market will ever quite represent what it should. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. I'll say I've said enough. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know. I think you're right that like because it's a luxury industry, it's like it's not a necessity. It is an optional thing that like you're gonna have a hard time getting people to care, and arguably it is like one of the least important areas of focus that we objectively like. I think like yeah, I would like the games industry to be a lot better and a lot less focused on like green line go up every quarter forever. But that requires like I don't know that's going to require a stem to stern like almost re-engineering of like what people find important. Like I think I don't know. There's areas that are just more demand more focus and more attention that are a lot more important for the survivability of your average person. So like I don't begrudge people for not necessarily for the I don't begrudge the situation not improving because I just kind of get it. But I do think I don't know. There's corporations and companies that aren't publicly traded that do great, and I really do feel like the shareholder thing is the big problem. Like Valve does great, and you know you can make a shit ton of money, more than you can ever imagine spending or doing anything with, without being beholden to random people on the outside demanding you shift your focus consistently so that the green line always goes up no matter what. Because realistically, that's an insane demand. It also creates this incredibly dumb problem where it's just like, oh, we made $900 million last quarter, and this quarter we only made $800 million. Everything's crumbling. Let's get rid of everything that we were doing. Let's like restructure everything. It's like it's a colossal failure. It's like it's not a fucking colossal failure. What are we doing? You're rich. You've made so much money still. This chase of like this consistent line must always go up is the problem. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you fix that though, because that's deeply ingrained, and I just don't know what you do about it. I do know that the companies that don't worry about that tend to do pretty fucking well. So it's going to require people to take note of that. But like, it's going to take a lot to take a company and be like, we're not publicly traded anymore. It's like, that's a big thing to ask.
Yeah. Well, so you have to buy you have to buy shares back.
You have to buy it back, which is like, again, you shouldn't have sold in the first place, but I don't know.
I agree with you that, I own and co-own two small privately owned companies, and we have financial pressure, but the financial pressure is not to investors. So it's different. Like I do fundamentally, economically, capitalistically understand the line go up mantra it's what you're saying, when your company is public, because what you've basically done is said like, we have reached a point. There are two things. People want to cash out that invested in the company or own parts of the company. And then there's a drive to bring in capital from the outside to grow. And once you get those people on board, you always have to pay the piper forever. Until, like you said, because they're not in to make their money back. When you invested money, you're in to make money.
Right.
And everyone is on board. So whatever money you put in, double, quadruple, whatever, treble that number. And that's what you have to get back. And it is why I respect the shit out of a Valve. I respect the shit out of an In-N-Out Burger. I respect the shit out of some of these companies that could make, I mean, dude, do you have any idea what someone would pay for In-N-Out Burger? Like, or to go public and how much money they would make? But it would destroy what it did to Shake Shack when they went public, and they kind of fucked the company up. Like they
it always does.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of the thing. Like I can't think of an example of like companies do well, like they do fine, but like when they go public and sometimes they crumble or whatever, right? And there's certainly examples of like private companies failing too, right? But there is something about like that external, like, oh, I'm not really involved and I don't really care. I just kind of, this is a successful thing and I want to get something out of it. Like that's the majority of like interest that you're going to get. It's not people who care. It's not people who like really care about the long-term viability of something. It's like, how can I make as much money in as little time as possible and cash the fuck out? Because that's the smartest way to play it, really. Like, why would you want to sit there for 50 years investing in something? I don't know. I think it's just too deeply I really don't know what you do. It's a core problem. It's a core flaw in like the meta of the system that exists.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
Dustin, well, let's get you on the record here. How are you
Yeah.
feeling about this? You can take it however you'd like.
Well, I think to add to what you guys are saying about, always needing to appeal and make money, I guess, for the shareholders. It's interesting looking at, if we look in the last 5 to 10 years of like PlayStation versus Xbox, where we've seen PlayStation continually do safer bets, continually focus on live service, whether you like that or not, but for the end benefit of the shareholders. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not. And on the Xbox side, when we look at the Phil Spencer era, you have like, I don't want to say lack of care for shareholders, because ultimately they were trying to make money and trying to build up that platform, but clearly less of an attention to trying to make games that just make money. Like a game like South of Midnight, I don't think was ever going to be like, oh man, the shareholders are going to love this, And so when I think like the question that's bringing up, like what needs to be done to foster creativity in studios, preserve economic prosperity and proper wages, it's tough because Herman Holst and Nishino, their job is to make PlayStation as good as possible, to make as much money as possible for the shareholders. So those types of like, preserving prosperity and proper wages comes from the top. So in one sense, you want developers to be able to do what they want to do and make these creative projects, much like Phil Spencer, which we've argued for that he was like too hands off on a lot of these projects. And then you have the other side, which is Herman Holst, which not saying he's necessarily telling every studio what to do, but definitely not being the right tastemaker and not necessarily guiding studios in the right direction, to the point where a lot of these studios have been shut down. So what is the balance between that, where you want someone at the top that can bring out the creativity of your studios, but at the same time is beholden to those shareholders, where it's like, number go up, green line, up, up, up. No one's really been able to crack that balance quite well. I mean, you think about like the PS4 generation, and maybe that was kind of the perfect balance, where it's like the players were really happy. We were getting creative new things from studios, as well as reinventions of old IP, and a lot of money for the teams. So this is something we've talked about a lot, but it's like the person at the top needs to be incredibly business savvy, but also be an incredible tastemaker. And I don't think we have that right now.
I think and you guys both make great points. There are wonderful things about publicly traded companies because of the amount of the ability to raise money and scale. It's like when people talk about the invention of the LLC, like that is low key one of the most important inventions in human history. Like all these low key things that allowed these amazing things to be able to limit your own liability, to borrow as an entity, right? To raise money and disassociate yourself from it, take risks. It's kind of like, it's a weird example, but it's what do they call it? Qualified immunity for police officers, where like they're protected because they're acting on behalf of something or whatever. Like you can found a corporation and take risks that you otherwise wouldn't, and do all these things. And it allowed for capitalist growth out of mercantilism and to grow into what we have today. But I think there's just no doubt it's out of control. And there's also no doubt that like we're all hypocrites, or at least I am. I own stock in companies, a lot of it. And I'm one of those shareholders in other companies that I don't really give a shit about. And the only value they have to me is how much money they can make me. And so people are going to use Sony like that. And they're going to use every company like that where they think they can make money. And so we're all part of the problem. And it's almost, or I don't want to say we all are. If you have a 401k, you are. If you have investments in the market, you obviously are. And that's many people, most people, adults anyway. So I don't know, man. It's an unfortunate situation. I like you use this quote, it's not business, it's personal. It's funny because there is a difference between as a business owner, I've been in positions where like I feel that way, where I'm like, it's not personal. You know, it's business and it sucks. And it's really, really tough. So to be willing to sell out to such a degree that you have so much money from these outside investors that are going to be on the board of directors and they'll crush you if you don't do what they want too. It's a tough one. And I don't know I think it's like environmentalism. The best solution, I think, is like on the small scale of people taking individual responsibility for themselves when and where they can. And it's like that bottom up approach that I think is the only chance for anything to change. But I think it's capitalism is this runaway monster at this point. And I want to be clear, I am a capitalist and I believe in capitalism. I believe capitalism should and could and does and has made people rich. I think capitalism has been a net benefit for all of human society and has lifted most of human society out of abject poverty. And all you have to do is look at the numbers. Like, just look at them. But doesn't mean that good things don't come with lots of downsides.
Yeah.
And that you have to kind of cut and trim and mow the lawn and do all these things and make it just so. And if it grows out of control and starts to infringe on other people's property and other people's things, it's fucked up. And to me, I think that what true capitalists don't understand today, and why some people look at me sideways are like, you sound almost revolutionary or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think you get it, dude. You either fix capitalism while you still can, or there are going to be major powerful forces that will try to destroy it. And you won't like what that looks like, and they won't not have a point either. So you just have to be careful. If you care about it, it's like having a child and letting it run amok. You got to guide it.
Well, yeah. I look at it like game design almost, where it's just like, bro, the meta's kind of been broken for a while and it's been unpatched for a really fucking long time.
Yeah, there's cheaters everywhere.
Game's not really fair at this point. You got to do something. You got to do something about this fucking OP, item that you put in the game that only like 2 people have. I don't know. It's management, it's maintenance. The core flaw really is that in order for us to do so well, in order for us to have as much access as we do, like we kind of do, like every country in the world can't be capitalist. Like capitalism kind of doesn't allow for that. Like, cause you kind of need places to trample over, quite frankly. Like, it's like the ugly reality of it. So I don't know, man. It's a monster, man. And so, I do think there's a real possibility that we end up late stage capitalisming ourselves deeply into a very, very different position. Because like eventually you're not going to, like, how are you going to justify like, oh, it's a 40% unemployment rate because all the jobs are AI and everything's robots. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my whole point.
Good luck convincing people that that's like how things should be. Like, it's not going to work.
If you have nothing to lose, why the fuck would you care about capitalism?
Right.
That's what I was saying. That's why I said earlier, I'm like, you would have a point. If you tried to destroy a system, a late stage capitalist system that doesn't serve the people, you would have a point. I know it gets bad from there. There is no solution to capitalism. The solution to capitalism is to fix capitalism. Like that, there is no other system. You
got to do the seasonal wipe, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so serious. Like, not like that literally, but like, there needs to be at least like every few years, like you gotta put out a patch, because like people figure out like, oh, I could do this and I can make a shell company, and like there's like the idea that there's any real like current like monopolistic safeguards is hilarious. Like the idea there's like, oh, there's no way monopolies can. It's like, brother, there's like shell companies upon shell companies upon shell companies upon shell companies upon shell companies. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, you got to do something about it.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, it's not, I want to be clear too, to everyone of all political persuasions out there. Well, I would say it's like, it's not just capitalism. The government is a major problem too. Half of government spending is probably fraudulent. Like, I'm totally convinced of that. There's just like, how do you even spend that much money? You don't. You steal it, you graft from it, you distribute it amongst your friends, you do all those kinds of things. You buy bombs to drop on other countries and all that kind of stuff, and grease wheels and grease skids and do all that. So it's like there are problems everywhere, but like the major thing is that people in positions of power don't care about the balance that is required to keep the system in good health for all of us. And that to me is a concern. Capitalism it's like you said, there's a trample thing. It's like capitalism creates losers. But that it actually has, it's as you said, it has to. But like, we shouldn't have this many losers.
Like, right. Yeah, like it's
not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. Yeah. And I don't mean you're a loser for losing a job or not having money. I'm saying like winners and losers. It's all betting.
There's no reason why someone should work 3 jobs and still have problems. You know, like it just doesn't. I don't know. Like it is kind of. I don't know, man. Patch it. Patch it, please.
Foreskin Warrior. Thank you for the thoughtful question. I got a hernia in my Matt Booty wrote in. Said, hey, CDC, with the release of the OG Resident Evil trilogy on Steam, where do you stand on playing the remakes versus the originals? There seems to be a lot of gatekeeping from longtime fans that if you haven't played the originals, you are a tourist. As a newer RE fan, I have a desire to go back and play the originals, but the discourse around them has turned me off a bit. Are there any other franchises you consider essential to play every entry? Thanks and be well. You know, I wanted to talk about Resident Evil with you guys specifically because the old Resident Evil games are rough, man. Like now that they're great games. I loved them at the time. Resident Evil 4 is where it kind of becomes a little more modern, and really you have to wait till 5 to get what I would consider a truly modern Resident Evil game, where that would actually be coherent today. But unlike Final Fantasy VII, where I always encourage people for obvious reasons to play the original Final Fantasy VII because you don't know what you're missing, because they're both, I've said this a million times, they both happen. So you need to play them both.
You're talking about the remake of remake of Final Fantasy VII.
Right, exactly. Like and in the continuity, Final Fantasy VII happens, and so does Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's a whole meta thing. It's unique to that. So I don't want people to be confused when I say, like, I tried to say that for years without spoiling it. And then you guys eventually, I remember I was like, all right, I'm sick of getting so much heat over this. Here's why it's important. With Resident Evil, they're straight up remakes. Now, 2, I think, was pretty straightforward. They did change some things in 3 and 4. They definitely made changes. So it's a matter of if you want the original experience or not, but they didn't all happen in the continuity. They are overlapping each other and giving you newer and better versions of them. And I'm not so offended by a quote unquote Resident Evil fan not having experience with the old games, because the new ones are just way better. Why the fuck would you want to play the original Resident Evil 2 when you can play the Resident Evil 2 remake, which is extraordinarily good? And they're the same game. They're just retold. So I understand what you're saying. And I think there are series where that's true and series where it isn't true, but there is a lot of Resident Evil purism, I noticed. You know, one of the common things we got with our Resident Evil Requiem spoilercast and review discussion, and I was a little disappointed about this because people just don't listen, and I'm so sick of it, you know, but people were busting my balls saying like Colin got the bad ending and then just went with it. And I'm like, that's not what I did. What I did was I got the bad ending and then I'm like, I'm going to play the game again. So I'll just play it all the way through and do the good ending the next time. And people like that blew people's minds that I didn't just go in and immediately ruin the other ending for myself. And I'm like, no, I made my choice. That was the playthrough. I know I'm going to play through it again. And I did. I beat it 4 times. I platinumed it. It's like people were like, oh, that's touristy. And I'm like,
what? How?
Well, that's the whole thing. I'm like, did you not hear what I said? That like, I'm going to play it again. So I'm just going to leave it for like, have a little treat at the end of the playthrough, like something new, you know?
Right.
So you have to understand that Resident Evil fans are kind of annoying, and I wouldn't take it too seriously from that perspective either. What Chris, where are you on this?
I mean, look, I have a really soft spot in my heart for the PS1. Like I really do have like this really deep love for that early 3D era. I understand that it's janky. I understand that it's like not particularly elegant. I understand that it's in some cases pretty hard to look at. But that was when I first kind of really fell in love with video games. Like I really liked, Mario. Like I liked the 2D stuff. I did. But there's something about the angular kind of weird look, the shimmering textures that would like change based on the angle, and how clearly like thrown together it was. That was like deeply charming to me, and I loved every aspect of it. How sharp Crash Bandicoot's character model was. I loved all of it. And so for me, going back to the early Resident Evil games is fairly enticing. Especially now that I'm pretty deep into it. I'm arguably a Resident Evil tourist. Like I never like loved the games when I was a kid. Even Resident Evil 4, which I love now, I didn't love it really, and I didn't love until the remake, really, because I just wasn't that involved. Like survival horror was not really my thing when I was a kid. Resident Evil 1, I think, famously scared the shit out of me, because the first scene in that game, like where you see the zombie eating the guy in the corner, looked exactly that hallway looked exactly like the mezzanine in my building when I was growing up. So I was like, I cannot play this. But I love that era, and I love the weird aspects of it. So from my perspective, like I'm really enticed by it. But if that kind of thing is off-putting to you, and I understand why it would be if you've only played games, from PS2, PS3 onward, like I get it. Because they're hard. I don't know for sure that if I grew up after that I would find the same appreciation of it. Like I really don't. I don't know. It's probably true that I wouldn't. So I don't care if people play the original stuff on PS1. I do think PS3 and 360 onward is like contemporary enough where like it's not really unplayable in a modern syntax.
Mm-mm.
But I also understand the perspective of people like, you should familiarize yourself with where this comes from if you care. Like if you've played a lot of Resident Evil games, like if you've played like 7 Resident Evil games and you've not touched the original ones, I think there's enough there at some point where you'd be like, yeah, you should probably maybe dabble at the very least. They're cheap and they're very accessible. You have enough familiarity with the lore and the narrative that like that's probably even enough to kind of pull you into the originals if you have the wherewithal to deal with a lot of the early jank. Like Halo Combat Evolved I played after I played Halo 2 and 3. Because I remember playing it originally and being like, I like this, but I'm not sucked in quite yet. And I kind of needed in some cases like the narrative familiarity and context to be like, okay, you know what, I'm going to go back and play Combat Evolved. And I ended up liking it because the stuff that I knew about the series ended up kind of pulling me through the first game and all of its kind of weird hiccups and the weird, there's no melee lunge and how like a parked car will kill you sometimes. And it's like a lot of the weird quirks of that game that kind of put me off of it originally. So I think there's value in going back even afterwards. And they're accessible, and they're cheap. So I don't know, give it a shot if you're into Resident Evil, but like I don't think it's like a necessity that you play them to be a fan. I just think a fan would naturally be curious.
What do you think, Dustin?
Yeah, the dick measuring in video game fandom, and I'm sure it applies to other fandoms, is so annoying. And maybe I don't know if it's with just Resident Evil fans, I don't know if they're more annoying than other ones. I know that when I did my Resident Evil video, I did get called a tourist because I haven't been a fan since the beginning. Because I was
3?
When did the first one come out?
96.
96, because I was 3 years old. I wasn't playing Resident Evil. I got into it Resident Evil 4 on the Wii. So that was 20 years ago.
That's a great port. I love that port.
So I'm a tourist from that standpoint.
That's so stupid. It's arguably so much cooler to be born after the fact and somehow be you know what I mean? It's to be used to like a more modern design syntax and to be able to go back and appreciate a game like that despite never having had a nostalgic familiarity with it. It's almost more impressive to me.
Right.
Like that people exist like that. If somebody born in like the 2000s is like, oh, I love Mega Man. Like that's cool because there's no like social kind of like, oh, this was the best that we had at the time. So I love it.
I think that this podcast is for gamers and we are gamers, that we got to remember who the actual enemies are. Who are the actual tourists? I think about, this isn't a gaming example, but it's the first one that came to mind.
Mm.
For One Piece. Sorry, One Piece reference here. When, I don't remember which one, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, they get mixed up in my head. The one that's into boxing and Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I don't know the difference.
He posted a video a few months ago where he bought multiple cases of One Piece cards. And he was in it for the financial investment. And he's like, yeah, I like One Piece. I watched the live action. Shout out to Luffy. And I'm like, no. That's tourism. That's someone that is like, I'm going to encroach upon this fandom for, it can either be financial gain or some kind of personal gain. Dude, just being that open about it as well. Those are the people that we should be that need to be not targeted. That sounds really rough. Those are the people that should be called tourists, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea that it's like, oh, well, this guy's only played 4 of the 7 games. So how could he possibly speak on any kind of, how could he give his opinion on this? Mm. He's only a tourist. Like, Chris, you said you're a tourist of Resident Evil. I totally disagree. You've played many of them. You have enjoyed them. You've played them thoroughly. It's like, what? Everyone has their own different stance. Like, oh, are you a real From Software fan unless you've played Kingsfield? You don't really understand you don't understand where these games come from. How can you really speak on them with any authority?
Sure.
It's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Stuff like that is so annoying.
I only say that to be clear because like Code Veronica and Resident Evil 0, like I have no experience with those. And I also kind of like don't necessarily have a deep curiosity to visit them. Like I like Resident Evil. I think it's cool. I think a lot of it I appreciate and vibe with, but it was never my favorite thing. Like I love Resident Evil 4 and 2, but that's also like kind of that's the popular opinion, but which is true. But yeah, that's all I meant really. But I guess, like I know what you mean.
That means I guess in a literal sense, you are a tourist. You show up, you enjoy it, and then you leave. Right. But I guess that's not the connotation that most people mean.
Oh no, words are so valueless and meaningless now. It's hysterical. Right. Like it's like I was called a tourist because I liked Marathon. Because like it shits all over the original game, and it's like I guarantee you I know more about the original Marathon trilogy than you could possibly hope to know, whoever you are. Like I promise you that. Like whoever left that comment, you know what I mean? It's just like it's completely meaningless. But
so I guess the other part of this question is just like remakes versus remasters. Like, just play what you want to play. I think Colin's right that you are going to get a lot more out of Final Fantasy VII Remake by playing the original. But
I think that's a unique situation. It's a unique situation, in my opinion.
It's a unique situation. And honestly, if you just want to play Remake and then have someone explain, because you're not that invested, because maybe you are being a literal tourist to show up and enjoy a modern game. And you're like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Just watch a YouTube video. That's fine. It's entertainment. It's meant to be fun, not work. And if that's going to be work to you, then don't do it.
The thing too is that like that we forget is that like everyone starts as a tourist.
Yeah,
like that's a natural progression of like what it means. Like I didn't I liked video games when I was a kid. I played them forever, but like I wasn't deeply curious about them until later, and I wasn't deeply invested in them until later. And there were series that there's entire games and franchises that I played through when I was a kid that I couldn't tell you the first thing about at the time because I was just like, whatever, it's fun, And then something catches your eye, and it becomes special, and then you become like, oh, I'm curious about this. I want to know more about it, and then suddenly you kind of get whisked away. And so like I don't know. I just think it's like that's part of the progression is like you start as a tourist and then you end up being, whatever label you want to put yourself in after that. Once you're more involved and more passionate or whatever word you want to use. It's weird though to levy that against people who are earnestly getting involved in the thing. Like I understand if you have an opinion on a game you haven't played, like that's fucking stupid. That's insane. like a thorough opinion. Like you're like, oh, I hate this game. I haven't played it. You can have an opinion about whether or not it appeals to you or whether or not you think like you think you'd like it. I have many games like that where it's like I suspect that I might like Crimson Desert. I haven't touched it yet. I suspect that I wouldn't like Colin, what was that game? Like that one actual woke trash game? Dustborn.
Yeah.
Like I haven't played Dustborn. I have an inclination that I probably wouldn't like it. But that's really as much as I could say about it. Like I have no idea about what that game's quality level is. So I just wish more people were a little bit more honest on that front, but
yeah. I think fandoms take themselves and their fandom too seriously.
Right.
Often. Like, for great example, Colin, you brought up my Berserk shirt. Mm-hmm. I've not read all of Berserk. I haven't. But I saw this shirt when I was oddly at a Hot Topic on clearance, and Holly wanted something else. It was free. I was like, okay, cool. And I have other Berserk merch too. And it's like, that's fine. People, it's like the joke that's like, oh, someone's wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. It's like, you like Iron Maiden? Name every Iron Maiden song.
Yeah.
It's like, just chill out.
I'm wearing a Yankee hat right now. I don't know a single fucking modern Yankee. I could not name a single, Derek Jeter is the last one I remember.
Good.
Hideki Matsui, is that Yankees too, or is that Mets?
Yeah, that's the Yankees. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's it.
He retired like 15 years ago, I think, but yeah.
That's about the time I was paying attention.
Yeah.
Because my dad kept me hostage watching baseball games.
I love Matsui.
But
so I guess the last thought, and I kind of said this, is keep your eyes out for the real tourists that are doing damage to the fandom you care about, not the person that wants to play the remake over the original. Who cares?
I actually think that the idea of tourism in games is most pronounced not on an individual IP or even individual game front, but rather on a platform front. And those kinds of people do more damage to their brand, the brand they like, than anyone else. So what wasn't I saying it on the stream that on Monday if someone wrote in about Xbox exclusivity and if they would go back to exclusives or whatever, and I'm like, I don't think they will, but I want them to so badly because it'll make for the best episode of SideQuest ever, because I'm going to have Locke go through all of these grifters and these tourists videos about how good that was and how excited they were about it. And this was natural and all of the rest. People just say whatever they need to say and do whatever they need to do to kind of be accepted or not. And I think the tourism is actually most pronounced there. All right. Respawn Delay wrote in and said, hello, Plonkers. Did you guys catch the recent announcement of a Minecraft theme park? Minecraft World is being built as a themed extension of Chessington World of Adventures, a popular theme park here in England. It's set to open next year, and I believe plans have been announced for a second park to be opened in the United States at some point in the future. With Nintendo entering the attractions market, Super Nintendo World, Nintendo Museum, Pokepark, and Microsoft Gaming now throwing their hat in the ring, do you think there's a possibility that we see PlayStation do the same? Do they have IP popular enough to have its own entire section of a theme park, or would they need to take a different approach? Thanks, and keep jockeying that chicken. Thank you for writing in. I did see this, and the only answer is what they're doing with Minecraft, which is to kind of attach yourself to an existing brand. And it would be kind of interesting, but I don't know. You know what came to mind for me? I think it's just because you and I both have a boner for the place, Dustin, but Cedar Point.
Oh, yeah.
To have like some PlayStation branded, because they don't really do IP there, right? Still, to like that.
They have Peanuts characters.
Oh, interesting. That's Sony.
Kind of. But
that's Sony.
Oh.
Sony owns Peanuts, remember? I think they bought it last year. It's interesting. I didn't know that.
So does that mean they own that Al Roker image from do you remember when the Good Morning America team like dressed up as the Peanuts character for Halloween? They had those those really really scary costumes with the fake ears. That's a Sony IP. Black Charlie Brown played by Al Roker.
Yeah, that's in Hiroki Totoki's office. Oh yeah, this is fucking horrifying. Yeah, they do.
If anybody hasn't seen this, they should look it up. Al Roker Peanuts. It is haunting. Like it's something that if you saw in like a horror game, it would chill you.
Oh,
it would chill you to the bone. Like with the right Resident Evil engine lighting. Oh my god,
it's fucking disgusting. It's a disgusting thing. So yeah, I think that maybe they do, and they can do maybe some exciting stuff at a Universal Studios like park where they can just get a little nook of it. I don't know if that's where they really want to be though. And I don't know if any of their stuff really markets to that degree. Like they're not Sony's not a very whimsical brand. I mean, or PlayStation isn't. Obviously, Astrobot and Sackboy and stuff and Ratchet, but are more childlike. But I don't know, Dustin, where are you on this? Would you go to Cedar Point and ride on the God of War stand-up coaster?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it would be awesome, but I would never see PlayStation do this. I mean, there's many steps that I think they would need to take, or I guess to generate interest. Well, let me start there. There is not enough interest in PlayStation IP to facilitate a permanent park anywhere.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Like you don't even see PlayStation doing something like a pop-up merch store or something in the US. They do in Japan. But I just don't, there's not that kind of love for those characters. Though they have done wasn't there a Halloween horror section of like Universal that was Last of Us?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Good call.
So there's been a little bit, and I think that's kind of the thing that they could do, but I don't think a Horizon attraction somewhere, even if it as a temporary basis, would really be something that people would really care about.
It's too bad because a lot of the iconography is super, like Horizon. If it's too bad that it's not huge, because that would be super cool, but even a roller coaster or something like on the tall necks, and like they kind of integrate the big robots into the different parts of it or something like that. Like there's also, but it's again, it's just not relevant. So Chris, do you want to go on the let's see, what would you want to go on? The Tower of Terror, but I don't even know.
It's marathon, but it's a marathon ride where they just take all your shit and they don't give it back.
Right.
No, I don't know. You've said a lot of what I would have said. I just think there's not that stickiness of IP that like would facilitate. Like I could see like rides. Like I actually think a Horizon ride makes sense. Like if they could do it, or like a. The Last of Us thing at Halloween Horror Nights. I actually went to it. I think I saw it. I don't remember it because I don't care about those things generally. Oh, Dustin's gone.
Dustin disappeared.
Yep. Hold on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it could work for individual rides, but like a full park, like nah. Like I think even if you had like a PlayStation themed park with like all of the IP, I don't know if there's really. It's just a different kind of thing. It's a very different thing than Nintendo has, where like it's more family oriented. It's even Minecraft, I think, is probably a pretty good idea because it is this like monumentally popular, like really flexible, really easy to make stuff for, I would imagine, just because it's so angular and so like square, like be really simple to build in comparison to like something like a tall neck, which is like the tall neck alone, building that thing even remotely to scale.
Yeah, it'd be nuts.
Is you know what I mean?
Like the Eiffel Tower or something.
Even if it was just like, I don't know, 16 feet tall or something, it would be like, it's a lot to figure out. So I don't know. I just don't think PlayStation's really in that space.
Landon Phipps wrote in, said sub CDC. I've recently been playing Chrono Trigger for the first time, and I've got to say that it lives up to the hype. The general consensus seems to be that this is one of the top JRPGs of all time, and I can definitely see that. Despite the constant praise and love that gamers show Chrono Trigger, the same can't be said for Square Enix. The game isn't on any modern console, and the latest iteration was a 2018 Steam release. What's going on with Chrono Trigger? Do you guys think a port or remake will be revealed at some point in the future? It's baffling to me that a game this beloved hasn't had a console port since the Nintendo DS, and it feels like Square, and that's not a console port, by the way, it's a handheld port. There hasn't been a console port since the PS1, which is crazy. It's baffling to me that a game this beloved hasn't had a console port since the Nintendo DS, and it feels like Square doesn't share the same love for the game that the community does. What are your thoughts on this classic game that is largely unplayable for the modern gaming audience? Dustin, what is your theory on this? Why are they not doing anything with it? I was wondering if there's some sort of, Toriyama was heavily involved, right? I wonder if there's some sort of, and before he died, when he was alive, I wonder.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really know the full nature of like who owned, like obviously Squaresoft published the game and developed it, but is there some sort of stake in it? Some sort of first right of refusal, something? I don't quite get it. I agree with Landon here.
So did Toriyama have any involvement with Chrono Cross?
That's a good question.
Because they did re-release that.
Yeah, let me look.
In the Radical Dreamers edition.
That's right.
I want to say no.
I don't think he did. Full production began. Chrono Cross team reached. The team felt pressure to live up to the work of Chrono Trigger's Dream Team development group, which included famous Japanese manga artist Akira Toriyama. So no, I don't think he was. So yeah. So that actually is a good call.
Now,
go on.
To be fair, there was as the write-in mentions, Landon says that there was the Steam port in 2018. So clear, there may be some roadblocks, but not fully, because they were able to do that port. So I don't know. I've always felt that Chrono Trigger was perfect for the HD 2D styling and just keep it exactly the same, but do the graphics that way. They don't even really need to do that. They could just do a Final Fantasy Pixel remaster style thing for it and release it. I think maybe it was you, Colin, that joked. Somebody joked that's like, that's their emergency.
Oh yeah, it's like the break glass kind of thing.
Break glass if you need money. Re-release Chrono Trigger on console. But I really don't know. I wish I had a better answer. It seems very odd because it sounds like the easiest money ever, but I think that Square does understand, even before and now especially post Akira Toriyama's death, that they need to handle it with extreme care.
That's what I think too, is that, well, there's only a few possibilities. One is that they just don't, and probably the most unlikely is that they just don't feel like it's worth it. Like, it's like, well, what, why? But to me, that could only be a viable thing if you anticipate that you're going to do some sort of more expensive remake or remaster, and you don't want to have this old digital version that would be cheaper available. It's kind of what I assume they did with Final Fantasy Tactics for a long time, actually. So that's one possibility. Again, the Toriyama thing and the connections to other people might be a problem too. Radical Dreamers, I think, which that was a Satellaview game, and we never got that here. I think conceivably didn't involve him either, because I think Chrono Cross was kind of a reimagining of Radical Dreamers. And then they were going to do that third game, Chrono Break, which never came out. That was announced like in the early 2000s or revealed at some point in the early 2000s. So I don't know, man. It's kind of a strange one. This is the 30th anniversary, or actually last year was, because it was 95. It came out summer 95. I remember that pretty well in the States anyway. I think I've said this before. I think one of the more controversial things I feel is like, I think Chrono Trigger is a really great game. I don't quite understand why people think it's like the best thing ever. In my opinion,
agree.
Like you're not talking to someone I played it when it came out. Like, I owned it and have been and the DS is the last time I played it, and that was a great port, because the PS1 port of the game was fucking ass. Like really bad. And that's the other thing, that I wasn't even sensitive to that shit. I was in high school. It was summer 2001 when it came to PS1. So it was even after the PS2 came out, and it was so bad. It would take like seconds for it to load the menu when you would just go to the menu. And it was so annoying that you would kind of plan a bunch of things to do in the menu so that you could go into it less, as opposed to the snappiness of an SNES cartridge. But, yeah, so like, I think Chrono Trigger's, if you were to say like the top 25 JRPGs of all time, I think it would probably be in that list. People talk about it like it's top 1, top 3, top 5, and I'm like, I don't think so. But teach their own, of course. It's a beloved game. The middle transformation on an Animorph cover wrote in. Said, hey, gents, this podcast goes live 1 week before the release of Pragmata. Outside of a short demo, they haven't shown much outside of 1 or 2 scenes that they've been recycling in trailers. Maybe I should be seeing this as a warning sign, but it actually makes me more excited. What are the crew's final thoughts before release? Also, did you see that the Pragmata Twitter said Diana was reminding people of someone, and then included a picture of her and Mega Man side by side? Capcom likes to do a bit of trolling. They did it on April 1st. I loved the theory that Pragmata was a Mega Man game. I thought that was a cute and fun, although unfounded, theory that I still believed in for some time. Pragmata soon got pushed up, as we know. It's the 17th, right? It was the 24th. As I recall, the rare push-up. Here's where I am. Capcom is killing it. And until I buy a Capcom game where I'm like, oh, this isn't very good, which hasn't happened in seemingly years at this point, I'm just going to go forward with the next thing. I mean, even the more obscure shit, like I went on and on about how good Kunitsugami was. Like that game was fucking sick. It's too bad more people didn't play. That game was so good. The Resident Evil games, even Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster was great. There's no reason to believe that Pragmata is not going to be great, especially because it's pretty obvious it's not the original version of the game. And that they saw something promising in it and gave it a lot of time. Remember, this game was revealed at the PS5 reveal and was supposed to come out in 2022. So obviously something went seriously wrong. And since it's 4 years late, it's fair to assume that they basically started again. And I'm sure they used assets and all that. But I didn't play the demo. I've looked at very few trailers since it was announced, and I think I saw a little gameplay, and I'm good. And I'm mega optimistic about it. And I frankly think the demo is a big dick move. And I don't mean a dickhead. I mean, like, you know, you're swinging your dick around a little bit. Because I don't think you do that with games you're not confident in. Chris, where are you? Are you going to play Pragmata on the 17th?
Yeah, I think so. I think I don't know anything about it, which is cool. Like, I kind of like that. I don't really like. I know I've seen gameplay of it, but it's kind of washed it. It's like in the back of my mind. Like I can't really even like summon imagery of it. Like I kind of know what it looks like, sort of. And so I feel like it's rare that I know that little about a game that's this imminent. I feel like so often things are advertised ad nauseum. So yeah, I'm definitely curious about it. I don't know if it's going to be a game that's going to work for me, but I don't think it's going to be bad. You know? Like, I think these are two different things.
It looks, to me, it reads extremely novel. Like, it's not going to be, conceptually, it's different, and thus I wonder how people will take to it.
Yeah, but I don't doubt the quality of it. So, like, I'm definitely going to be checking it out. And I know there's a demo, too. I have not played the demo. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to save it for the day.
Yeah, I'm not into demos, really, unless... I like that a lot of demos connect to the final version of the game. I think that's really cool to do that. You're basically downloading the full package at that point, I think, and then they just lock you out with a timer. So that's a clever way to get people to try your game, and you have a save and you have investment, and so you just buy it. That's cool. But yeah, to me, I'm like, I don't need a demo. I'm in. I think it looks great. Yeah. Dustin, you played the demo, as I recall. What do you
I played the demo at Summer Game Fest, and then the one that's out now on everything. And I think the demo is a really smart idea because, as you were saying, Colin, it is very unique. And I think I could see the reviews on this maybe being a little mixed, but as you guys were saying, not for quality, but just that the main hook of the game is that you need to solve these quick, rapid puzzles in order to attack enemies. And I could see some people just not liking that. So check out the demo to see if that's something you're into. But I was saying this somewhere recently. I don't remember, but when you've been gaming your whole life, and not that I'm super old at 32, and I'm sure you can feel this, Colin, is that it's like we've played the same type of things over and over and over again. And so when something that's actually has a really unique spin on something that is becoming more and more intriguing to me, it's like I can tell from not even playing the demo, just from looking at the trailer, it's like I've never played a game like that. And maybe Pragmata is really fun at first, but the hook of it gets old through it. You know, that could be a possibility, but to me, the ability to have a new experience is so cool to me that I probably am going to like it despite those flaws. Who knows? Maybe it'll look great throughout the whole thing, but I'm very excited for it. But as I said, check out the demo if you're on the fence, because I could see it not being for everybody.
Joshua Anderson has the final inquiry and says, "Sup, fellas. Is it time for PlayStation to bring back the PlayStation experience? Between studio closures, the failed live service games initiative, and the anti-woke narrative to their games and hardware price increases, I feel like the discussion around PlayStation hasn't been this bad since the early days of PS3. The revival of PlayStation experience would be a great PR boost, especially with PS6 in the pipeline. Thoughts?" I think it would actually be I think it's a bad idea at this point. I think if you even asked me a couple of years ago, I would probably have a different answer, but And we probably did. We've talked about it in the past about the revival of PSX many times, but it would be a grander version of the player base thing we talked about earlier with the scanning of people in. It's like, just shut the fuck up and focus on why we're here. We don't need PSX hit at a right time because that was when the community was at an all-time high. Everything was symbiotic at that point. PS4 was rising and doing great. Everyone was happy. It's different now. I don't know that you want to get, like, there would be some excitement about it, but I don't think you'd want to gather everyone together before you have righted the ship. As I said, for lack of a better reference, it's like a politician using all of his political capital. It's like, you have no more political capital. You used it to keep us all around and keep us believing in the brand. So now you need to deliver the goods, and PSX is a distraction. That's for me, that's like a first party can't even imagine how disruptive that would be to them. They'd have to all make demos and polish these things up and go to the show and all the rest. I also think that, like, the chatter around PlayStation might seem negative in hardcore spaces like ours, but PlayStation's fine. So I think they look at that too and they're like, it's all good. Again, what we say over and over again, it could be so much and should be even better than this. It should be so much better, but it's good. And so, no, I have no desire for the PlayStation experience. I don't think Sony's ever going to bring it back. The ironic thing to talk about it now, though, Jeshua, is that Microsoft is bringing back their FanFest thing, right? Or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So, and they're doing it around the world, I think. So there is an argument to be made there. I don't know, but I don't think PlayStation is really playing Xbox's game anymore anyway. So I don't think they care. Either of you want to go to PSX?
Yes. I don't think it's a good idea. I totally agree with you, but I loved PlayStation experience. It was probably, of the shows that I went to, the best one, which I didn't go to the first one, but I went to the ones after that. And apparently the first one was the best one. But
your camera's gone again, by the way.
It keeps overheating. Well, let me finish my thought real quick and then I'll throw it over.
Put up the wait for this. Put up the picture of Dennis Starfield.
Okay. Dennis. What was I saying?
PSX.
PlayStation experience. Oh, I do think it would be a bad thing that I wonder, just like, Sony's so afraid of negative PR and stuff. Like, imagine people like the articles like these guys cosplayed as the crew of Concord at PlayStation Experience with signs that are like looking for work or something like that. Like,
that's a good idea.
Something like that. And yeah, they just don't need it anymore. So
agreed. Chris, you ever go to PSX? Did you go to one?
No, I didn't. I didn't really do the convention. Like, I went to like New York Comic Con in 2012, and then like the next thing that I went to after that was, I think, E3 2018.
Yeah, that sounds right.
20.
That sounds
right. So I went to PAX's around that time too, up until COVID, and then since then I haven't really gone. I was never huge on these events anyway, but I'm in agreement that it's not a great idea. I also do think, as much as I lament E3 being gone, I do miss having that like communal thing where like there would be just one day of all these like great new things to be excited for. I think the reality of like how development timelines have shifted, it's just like it's not a wise use of time anymore. Like, it made more sense to have an E3 trailer when you'd max out at around 3 years of development time, and it was comparably trivial to whip up a vertical slice of something and it was not to say that it was trivial in that time. That still was a massive resource drain and like a big, thing that derailed a lot of things, but it wasn't, I don't know. It didn't feel unnecessary at the time compared to now, where there's a lot of directs. There's so many games at this point. Like, you really got to just focus on building your thing. And so having an event in a time where the only people who are paying attention to it are probably like not super stoked, not that they're miserable. It's not like Xbox where it's just like a fucking dumpster fire constantly. They're just like, what the hell is going on? But it's not like it's a far cry from the PS4 era, as far as
Definitely.
like positivity. And now there's a whole grifter angle too. It's like, how many like engagement baiters are going to show up to this thing?
Yeah,
like,
it is a
like,
different era.
Not,
you're right there. Yeah.
It's a different, like, people you didn't have the same level of like, oh, I'm gonna go and troll for money. Like you didn't have that back then. It was more earnest, and I think that's like long gone.
Well, I feel like, I don't know. I understand people's excitement. They're looking for something. I still feel like it's got to start with the games. And then once there's something to celebrate again, we can do that when the time comes.
It's a big question if we're ever going to get a fucking showcase again.
Yeah.
Like who the hell knows?
Yeah, I feel like they just kind of got rid of the showcase branding. And now they're just all states of play or state of plays, depending on how you want to brand it. Anyway, my friends, that's all we've got. It's over. It's time to go. It's good to be here with you guys the other day, and we had a good time. Let's go around the horn and say goodbye to everyone. Chris, goodbye to you, my friend. Be well.
Goodbye.
Any plans for the rest of your day?
Probably do some paperwork. It's that time of the year. Get some food, and then cryo. I don't know when, but at some point today, I'm going to be jumping on the Cryo Archive. Get some, lose all my stuff, become destitute as as the cycle demands. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a simple, low key day, which is good. It's better than what is it that I feel like I remember saying to you, like it's been uneventful, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
that is good. Well, enjoy. I'm sure have you met any listeners or fans on the on Marathon?
I've gotten friend invites, but I usually, and I've accepted them on there because it's like, it doesn't hurt to be able to like get a third in. But every time I dabble in the idea of like getting like, oh, people have friended me from the show or from the stream or whatever, let me pull them in. Usually while I'm in the process of considering that, I'll get a DM from somebody that I know who just wants to play. So it's just like that hasn't really materially happened yet, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point. I'm sure I'll rope. If I've accepted you on Bungie.net or whatever the fucking thing is, you may get roped into something. I think I invited somebody actually, and then they didn't accept it, and then they were like, "Oh, I didn't see this." And I was like, "Well, sorry. Time's up."
Dustin Furman.
Yeah.
Goodbye to you, my friend.
Goodbye, everyone. I think I'll also be trying to play Cryo Archive tonight.
Very good.
It's been interesting, the players that you interact with, because I've had interactions where like I kill someone or they kill me and it's like, you got me. And I'm like, sorry, I don't have anything on me. I'm just a free kit. He's like, oh, no worries. I'm a free kit too. And then knife me in the neck. And I killed someone the other day and they just repeated the N-word for 20 seconds straight.
Jeez Louise.
And I was like, you good dog. You okay? And then I killed him. So it's a little bit of everything in a little bit of everything
but Tau Ceti.
Yeah, a little the racists of Tau Ceti. They're out there.
In 2888, people still hurling the N-word around.
35 light years from Earth or whatever it is.
Dude, my NVIDIA Shadow Play that's like always recording wasn't on because I'm like, man, I wish I could have clipped that. That would have been great.
Yeah.
So I have that on now, so hopefully I can run into him again.
Yeah, there'll be more.
I gotta turn that on. I always forget to activate that shit. There's something that Steam does natively too, right? That's not NVIDIA. That
I don't know if it's
stuff.
clip based like that. I don't know. Maybe it does. I always forget. You gotta set like a key binding to like record the last few seconds, and I always forget what it is when I'm playing.
Right. Yeah.
So, but other than that, no plans right now. So it's just gonna be gamer time.
Yeah, cool. Let me know when you get on Cryo.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I'll continue tonight. I'm gonna go for a walk after this. It's nice out. I'll go for my weird 6 mile walk. Look at the trees. Probably get back into Starfield tonight. I've been playing a lot of Saint Slayer as well, just kind of playing it over and over again, making sure everything's good to go. That comes out on the 20th, of course. And wait for Pragmata. And I actually think sooner. I think is it Monday or Tuesday or something. I don't know. Mouse comes out at some point. So. Be getting into a lot of games to talk about in the weeks to come. All right, my friends. Well, good show. Thank you for being here with me. It's good to see you guys. Thank you all out there for your love, kindness, and support involving Sacred Symbols and Last Stand Media. Couldn't do it without you. Patreon.com/Last Stand Media for early ad-free access and laststandmedia.store for merch. We'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.
See ya.
Take care, guys.
Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC, and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is conceived by, is written by, and is directed by me, Colin Moriarty. My co-hosts are Chris Raygun Maldonado and Dustin Furman. The show is produced by executive producer Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by my best friend, Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand's shows, including Sacred Symbols, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we're grateful for your thoughtful and kind contributions to our independent endeavor. Thank you.